This be Captain Frost, spitting truth, causing glitches in the Matrix.
Come in, little moth. Beckon to the flame. Grace us with a dance. Welcome to the masquerade.
Take wing, my angel, break off your chains. Rapture is a haven where the great are not constrained. Feel how the freedom of expression liberates. But the ebb and flow will come and go in waves. Strip away the artifice of what are you made, a medium of blood and flesh. Let the world become a stage. There's an art to war and a war to art the same. But I am not the one with which a war you want to wage. Make a weapon of the instrument you play. But if the key's predictable, the signature must change. I've laid you down a canvas which shortly you will stain with the palette of your sweat and tears coursing through your veins. As an unconceived masterpiece, put the paint to practice. Unadulterated till your hands take action. Make crickets of the critics, all devoid of thought or vision. Unfamiliar to our labor with irreverent opinion. Plaster them with imperfect purpose. Bang yourself, draw back the curtain. Show us how tragic a story is. After all, I know you wanted an audience. Underneath your untested, unquestioned desire lies a disdain creator. Dishonesty conspires to supplant ingenuity with ugliest conformance. Put your mask on, give us a performance.
I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin possums and everything.
You are perfection, lost in pursuit of it. Take my direction, I can lead you to it. The audience is not your friend, you just love their applause. Cause an honest artist isn't what they want. Better off with a mask on.
And here he is, folks.
So upset when he begged for his job back.
Oh, is that what we're gonna do, Alex?
We're gonna do it. Damn right, we're gonna do it. Not here doing anything but opening the blinds to wake people up.
Upon the curtain's closure, tell me, was it all of us or a little more? When the masquerade is over, will you keep it on or rip it off? Do you know your part in the play, the role for which you've been cast? Go for flutter and frolic no more. Keep up and as you become your mask, demand validation. Back for an encore, standing ovation. Dance to your heart's content with elation. The phantom just began his manifestation. The product of an operatic equation. Your balance become an uncensored sensation. Blessed in inception, damned in creation. As you find violence, your hand's motivation. Rage is a symphony, glistening with crimson. Your vigor is a gift with which you've been christened. An artistic epiphany is blissful if you listen. As the visionaries, are we ever crippled with precision? But the gravest sin committed is abandoning conviction. If you're guilty of it, you'll be granted no admission. Tickets are revoked for all irrelevant opinions. Unoriginality is not a fixable condition. I've disposed of my disciples, I'm without a muse. They wore such unbecoming judgment, but I'm bound to you. My fickle inspiration might just be found in you. Little moth, you are my songbird, now don't sing out of tune. I'm searching for the perfect harmony, but all I can find is dissonance. It's my curse, my fucking curse! I must seduce the ear, delight the spirit. A song is reviled if no one should revere it. So I want you all, yet none at all to hear it. I've come to love a crowd, just so much as fear it. No gods or kings, only man. No divine intervention with these mortal hands. The spotlight's hot and all eyes are drawn. My makeup's flaking, but my smile's on.
Exceptionally important point about how people are not falling for this psyop.
Take my direction, I can lead you to it. The audience is not your friend, you just love their applause. Cause an honest artist isn't what they want. Better off with the mask on.
Now you didn't realize you were an unwitting Mossad operative. Oh, I'm not supposed to mention that.
A lot of people think you're a Zionist shill. You know that. That's the biggest one. That's the biggest one about Alex Jones.
You know, I'll be honest with you.
That's the biggest one.
One of the main things that everybody has recognized in the past few years is that the illusion of choice when it comes to mainstream media
is completely fake, as all of mainstream media is controlled by a few corporations and the message is highly controlled. People have criticized this consolidation of information because what it amounts to is one media executive having access to 850,000 subscribers, roughly, if it was translated into YouTube type numbers. So what you're seeing here is a diagram of the Bilderberg Group and how they're able to control so many corporations through a small roundtable group of people that are able to influence all the corporations, and then those corporations influence what you see and hear through mainstream media, and everyone in alternative media and everyone that calls himself a truth seeker understands everything that I have said thus far. Due to the obvious controlled and centralized nature of mainstream media, Americans and people around the world have lost faith in mainstream media and have moved to the internet age of alternative media. Now, the elite needed a way to control the opposition in a time of the information age that was coming and had already started. So in order to make sure that the people that came across alternative sources of information due to the internet age never fully woke up and then funneled all of their money, resources, and time into a network of shills, much like mainstream media, the powers that shouldn't be created a network of self-promoting shills that all work together, all collaborate together, and all put out the same information that will never ever lead to the taking down of the power structure that currently runs the planet, rather just expose it in a variety of different ways that keep people on a hamster wheel, running, sharing links, and never actually making any changes. With the rise of the information age, which was created by IARPA and the internet that was created by the powers that shouldn't be, we have the rise of conspiracy theories exposing the same powers that shouldn't be that created the internet in the first place. So what they did was centralize the movement around a shill network to keep people forever looking into endless conspiracy theories without having any ability to actually stop the global elite. For instance, Alex Jones, during his run on YouTube, was allowed to amass 2.43 million subscribers, which is significantly more than any of the media executives were allowed to have access to, with 850,000 each. He was allowed to reach 1.6 billion, not million, billion views on YouTube, which is more than enough views to wake up more than enough people to overthrow and get rid of 300 or so New World Order people keeping everyone down. So in order to censor the internet for independent people like myself, what they did was they banned the head figure of the Infowars network, Alex Jones, but none of his minions got banned with him. What they did when they banned Alex Jones was they went around and banned other very small independent content creators like myself and censored us along with him, but none of his actual minions, people like Paul Joseph Watson, got censored. As you can see here, Paul Joseph Watson's YouTube channel has achieved 533 million views. He reaches 1.9 million subscribers, and Paul Joseph Watson's future growth seems assured with a constant exponential growth rate over the next couple years, which should send him up into the millions of subscribers and future views, hundreds of millions of future views. So at the same time that people like myself were completely banned from 9 different YouTube channels, people like Paul Joseph Watson and other members of the Infowars network were allowed to not only stay on YouTube, but were allowed to continue to grow. Paul Joseph Watson has 1.9 million subscribers on his main channel currently. He's getting 577, 529, 630,000 views per videos over the past couple weeks. PJP is also allowed to have a backup channel that also has over 240,000 subscribers currently and gets hundreds of thousands of views per video. If the powers that should not be were really scared of Infowars and wanted to shut them down, they would remove the ICANN for Infowars.com, and they would remove the head minions of Alex Jones like Paul Joseph Watson from YouTube. One of the key things to understand here is when Alex Jones was banned, he actually grew in a bunch of other ways. So when they banned him on YouTube, Google allowed him to stay on their podcasting platform, and he grew to become one of the most influential podcasters on Google Play Store and on the Apple Store. So did they actually ban him? No. All they did was drive traffic to his website, which he makes money from, and other ways to access Alex Jones. And then they allowed his little network of minions to continue to grow on things like YouTube, which promoted him on YouTube till this day. So the banning of Alex Jones, which was mainly done to give him more credence at a point in time where his career was being questioned by a lot of people in alternative media, all of a sudden he's back out there on Google Play Store, Apple Play Store, and his only message for how to stop this from happening is to buy more Infowars products. Like, subscribe, and share, guys.
What's up, y'all? I'm the last man on Earth. Shit's all fucked up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.
So Alex Jones is just playing a role for the elite. As he will say himself, he's just a performance artist. And what he's there to do is be completely outlandish, look completely insane, make all types of claims that never come true, and then be supported and promoted by a network of shills that constantly claim Alex Jones was right, even though Alex Jones has been wrong far more than he has been correct, and he looks like a complete lunatic most of the time, doing all types of really strange skits that just make all of us look bad and make it easier for them to censor all of us, while his network of shills and little minions continues to be allowed to operate on YouTube.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass.
I'm to procreate. I must find a quiet place. May I lay my egg here?
No, actually not.
I don't care what that mean human says. It's my right to lay an egg here.
So as you can see, Alex Jones's main role is to be one of the leaders of the conspiracy theory movement, but at the same time to look completely ridiculous, so that when they censor the rest of us, they can point at stuff like this and be like, look, Alex Jones is crazy.
Because you're lying! Because you're full of shit! That's why! You can say what you want about me or Trump or Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity. Bill O'Reilly, I mean, they're there to dumb the debate down. They're there to look cartoonish, to sound ridiculous. You filthy fascist scumbag liberals allied with radical Islam. You people are filth. Because that drives intellectual liberals deeper into the more complex New World Order mind control system. Never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win. Dracula to Von Helsing, come here. Come here. I'm not here doing anything but opening the blinds to wake people up. You don't like the light, do you? Pull those blinds up. I like sun.
Take advantage, Hillary.
Come sit in your lap.
Oh,
how's
Jesus
it going?
Hey, Alex Jones, how you doing?
See you, man. You're looking sexy.
All right.
Hey, how's the revolution going? You guys starting the revolution?
I am really, really proud to be here with you. It's good to meet you in person.
I don't think
How are you guys doing? You like all our Hillary for Prison shirts everywhere?
I haven't seen any of them.
You haven't seen? Oh my God! You didn't see me? I don't exist if you didn't see me.
I'm not.
Look at this. I got a new shirt for you right here. It's rape. It's Bill Clinton. It says rape.
Okay, this is.
You don't know shit.
What do you think? The lizard people are in charge?
They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it. Make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' humans, okay? Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon.
When most average people come across Alex Jones, they see it merely as entertainment. And those of you that actually fall for this garbage, they are laughing at. They think you're insane. They think that you've fallen for some complete nutbag. And they're actually right. And that's what Alex Jones's role is, to be the Pied Piper, the one dragging you around like a jester, making you look ridiculous for sharing his work.
Anyway, Stoops.
Now, getting back to the banning of Alex Jones for a second, if the powers that should not be wanted Alex Jones banned so badly, why haven't they banned him from using all normal payment processors like they've done to some people? Why is he still allowed to make $165 million over the past couple of years while he's been quote-unquote banned from all social media? In fact, Alex Jones is now making more money than he ever has before. So was his banning a banning, or was it another way to make him look credible in order to further the Infowars brand and expand the network? As you can see from the Infowars survival foods section of their website, they sell an entire line of survival food for the coming collapse of the world order that is never actually coming. This is akin to Jim Baker selling food buckets or any of the other people in alternative media that do the same, where they try to scare you with some nonsense into buying their products and survival items.
You know, many revolutionaries rob banks and things and kidnap people for funds. We promote in the free market the products we use that are about preparedness. That's how we fund this revolution against the New World Order.
Like a burly carnival barker, he once boasted that Tangy Tangerine weight loss supplements allowed him to shed 37 pounds in just 2 months. It's just one of the products Jones has hawked in the past to fund his media empire Infowars, and to bankroll his at times lavish lifestyle. Today, he sells a number of items, ranging from freeze dryers to so-called testosterone boosters for men in need of a little something extra to fight the globalist agenda.
If Alex Jones were selling you these products in good faith and just having you buy them based on the need for iodine, which is actually a good supplement for yourself, that would not be a problem. The problem I have is the fact that Alex Jones lies, stages events, and other things to sell his products. One of these was iodine. In an article titled, "I worked for Alex Jones and I regret it," in the New York Times, we learned the following. Quote, "Soon after I was hired, Jones Infowars branded store, which sells emergency survival foods, water filters, body armor, and much more, introduced an iodine supplement, initially marketed as a, quote, shield against nuclear fallout. Still learning the ropes, I was tasked with creating video advertisements for the supplement, which he ran on his online TV show. One of these ads started with a shot of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant as it exploded. I doubled the sound of the explosion, adding a glitch filter and sirens in the background for dramatic effect. Jones stood over my shoulder as I edited. 'This is great,' he said. 'See if you can find flyover footage of Chernobyl as well.'" Shortly after Jones began selling the supplement, someone posted a video on YouTube holding a Geiger counter displaying high radiation readings on a beach in Half Moon Bay, California. The video went viral, stoking fears that radiation from Fukushima was drifting across the Pacific Ocean. Jones saw an opportunity and sent me, along with a reporter, a writer, and another cameraman to California. We had multiple Geiger counters shipped overnight. unaware of how to read or work them, and drove up the West Coast, frequently stopping to check radiation levels, other than a small spike in Half Moon Bay, which the California Department of Public Health said was from naturally occurring radioactive materials, not Fukushima, we found nothing. Jones was furious. We started getting calls from the radio show producers in the office warning us to stop posting videos. Now, why would Alex Jones, the leader of the truth movement, not want the truth out there? Oh, would it hurt his iodine sales?
Rare earth, deep earth crystals that are incredibly powerful that no one else has as a source for their iodine.
And that's pure muscle, by the way. I've gained a ton of muscle.
I know I personally am getting prepared. We're offering some of the biggest specials ever. I make sure it's the very best product.
We don't make a huge profit on it, but I think we'll just sell more, making bigger profits under operation.
And the grifting and the using of fear porn to sell products continues to this day. Paul Joseph Watson, one of the main network members of Infowars, out there shilling the iodine pills, saying that Europeans are panic buying iodine pills, which therefore would make their audience want to stock up on iodine supplements, which they just happen to sell.
It's Alex Jones here. You never know when the next nuclear war is going to take place. Go over to InfoWarsStore.com right now and get yourself some nascent iodine and protect yourself from the coming nuclear fallout.
We're about there's almost a month now before you can get your food.
Wow, that's good.
People are ordering food faster.
Wow.
In a few hours, there's going to be an event take place. And you won't get food for 6 months to a year.
Now, evidence came out during the Sandy Shores trial that is ongoing as I make this documentary from Alex Jones's cell phone that his lawyers accidentally gave over to the Sandy Shores lawyers. And on that, Alex Jones, turns out, was making $800,000 per day in 2018, which is quite a substantial amount of money from this online survival grifting nonsense. And here we have the so-called opposition to Alex Jones, which is just fake opposition to Alex Jones. You have High Impact Flicks, which is just another grifter who puts out completely disingenuous videos in order to promote the promotional products that he puts on his page. It's the exact same thing as Jim Baker's Buckets or Infowars Survival Food.
All right, before you watch this video, some very serious stuff is going on.
323 million people are without power for how long? Days, weeks, months? Just make sure you're ready.
Guys, we already know that they want to decimate the dollar, destroy the economy, bring us into a cashless society, and eventually make it difficult for us to even get food.
Shit's all fucked up. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's why I constantly promote My Patriot Supply. Every chance I get, I turn my fiat currency notes into long-term storable food. This stuff is awesome. It's got a 25-year shelf life.
We could look back and say yesterday was the last day to order and get prepared.
This offer comes with 22 buckets, plus a bonus of 6 additional buckets for a total of 28 buckets.
It's time to stop submitting to this tyranny. It's time to realize that we're being enslaved. Uh-oh, it's our tax dollars at work. Protect us from ourselves. Hey guys, I used to be one of you. Stop selling out your own species.
So the next big obvious question with Alex Jones is he the agent in place? Is he a part of a government psyop to keep people running on a hamster wheel, or a part of the East India Trading Company trying to keep people from looking into the banksters and the central banksters in charge?
Definitely something going on there.
What's going on here?
There's something going on.
Something, though, is really starting to get suspicious here.
We're going to look into it because there's something going on that's really, really
bad.
This needs to be investigated.
It makes me like Trump more, obviously, that they ended up reaching out to us to have him on the show.
I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed, I hope. And I think we'll be speaking a lot.
So here's my message to President Trump. I know that I have missed more of your calls than I'd like to, sir. I wish I always had the phone glued to me when you called. Donald Trump gave me a call. And I told him, Mr. President-elect, you're too busy. We don't need to talk.
Alex Jones, nice guy.
Here we see Alex Jones celebrating the victory of Donald Trump in the 2016 election with Roger Stone. And Roger Stone has some very interesting and shady political connections, but also we can see how alternative media was taking over for mainstream media as of 2016 and has only continued in this since then. As stated in the article, during the course of the 52-hour marathon broadcast live from Infowars Central Command in Austin, Texas, Jones deployed his crackpot team of pundits and reporters, and all of these people are in the Infowars network: Paul Joseph Watson, Kurt Nimmo, Joe Biggs, David Knight, Darren McBreen, Leanne McAdoo, Margaret Howell, Rob Dew, and Owen Schroyer, to provide relief during rare moments he wasn't actually on air. With Trump surrogate Roger Stone, the GOP's flamboyant Oppo man, at his side, Jones took every opportunity to boast about the multi-million-dollar operation he's built over the last 10 years, which now has a bigger audience than CNN's, he says, based on the number of radio stations he's on and the amount of people who watch his stream through social media, YouTube, and Infowars.com. So Alex Jones is bigger than CNN, yet people still think he's the independent media.
And the next thing you know, I'm in frickin' Infowars studio, which looks exactly like an IIA fucking fusion cell. No shit. So it's something that looks exactly like an IIA fusion cell that sits in the middle of the fucking military-industrial complex in Austin, Texas, who funded a documentary exposing IIA, didn't know about it, and then attacks the documentary exposing IIA, and fires his journalist before she's even out of jail to be able to explain herself.
The ShatterNet was the commercial version of an IIA weapon, IIA being interactive internet activities. That's the military nomenclature for what basically you've heard just being described for the last 3 or 4 years with all the fake news and the fake news journalists and fake stories, fake dossier. All these things are attributes and characteristics of IIA, which is social media psychological warfare. We began that really in 2007, when right after the policy guidelines first came out. We were on one of the first contracts with the DoD that I'm aware of.
I'm looking around outside of Infowars studio at the most high military-grade cameras, military-grade communications all around the buildings, which, if I remember right, was like Raytheon, and it was a fucking... Infowars is literally in your face in the middle of the military-industrial complex in fucking Austin, Texas.
You know what? The public deserves to hear this and to get it straight. Now, how did you get Donald Trump on your show 3 times prior to the election? How did you pull that off?
All right, I never tell this on my own show, and this will probably end up being news tomorrow, but you deserve it. I know folks that are part of Delta Force, and I know people that are part of covert action in the Defense Department and the CIA. And quite frankly, they've given me authorization to talk about this. I have never been in the CIA. I have never been part of covert operations, but I was basically contacted by groups inside Special Forces operations in Florida.
These are the Psy-War soldiers.
Inside breakaway groups inside the Central Intelligence Agency and groups basically behind American industry that wanted to defeat the globalists, and they're planning to bankrupt America. And so they told me that they were advising Trump on the globalist takeover, and that they understood from their demographics and their studies that we actually had conservatively 15 million people a week visiting Infowars.com and tens of millions watching our videos, and that they had briefed the president, or now then candidate Trump, and that they wanted to attempt a counter coup against the globalists.
But this is what got Donald Trump to say, I got to be on this guy's show?
Donald Trump was advised by the Special Forces Command out of Florida. They said
to go on your program.
I mean, that's who actually, let's just say it, the enemy already knows all this. Let me just say this, everybody listening knows I'm telling the truth. Special Operations Command in Florida, the Delta Force, Army, Black Ops, Army's the oldest thing in America. It's before the Constitution, anything. They said, sir, you need to go with Alex Jones, and you need to rally the troops. And they briefed him. They showed him the documents, and they said, we need you to run. And the Delta Force basically asked Trump. Delta Force, founded by General Boykin and Schumacher and people like Dr. C. Pachenik of Psychological Operations of the CIA. They basically delivered the message to Trump with all the dossiers and all the proof of what was happening. And he just said, you're highly recommended. All I can say is we're going to be talking a lot more, because he was being briefed by top generals. I'm not going to say the name on what we're doing. And it's not that I'm even special. I'm willing to say this. I'm willing to do this.
So Alex Jones, as you heard there, is willing to do what he's told in order to quote-unquote help. Well, let's take a little look at Steve Pachenik and his connections to the deep state and to Henry Kissinger, and to why Alex Jones is doing what he says.
We've had a video received in evidence of you stating your belief at that time that no one died at Sandy Hook, that the whole thing was fake. Do you understand, as you sit here today, how crazy that is?
I have said before that there have been so many lies and so many things in the past, and I was under a lot of pressure. And I truly, when I said those statements, when I say something, I mean it, that I really could believe that it was totally staged at that point. And I was basing that off of really Steve Pachenik, who has been a very prestigious person.
So the man that is writing scripts for Alex Jones, as Alex Jones just stated, Steve Pachenik. Steve Pachenik is a well-known conspiracy theorist, but he also has ties to the CIA, the United States Department of State, and Henry Kissinger. Steve Pachenik's family seems to have a similar flight path to a lot of the families that left the Soviet Union after the 1990s. In the 1990s, post-Soviet Aliyah, where a lot of Russian Jews moved back to Israel and now have access to all United States critical infrastructure through Israeli private cybersecurity companies. So Steve Pachenik has very strange connections for someone that is a conspiracy theorist writing scripts for Alex Jones. In 1974, Steve Pachenik joined the United States Department of State as a consultant in assisting the restructuring of the Office for Prevention of Terrorism. In 1976, he was made Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under Henry Kissinger.
And there were only 3 or 4 leaders who really made a lasting impression on me, and to a certain extent changed my thinking. And one of those was Mandela. Another one was my teacher at Harvard 50 years ago, Professor Henry Kissinger.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world that we have to bring about together with other countries. A different consciousness of what a world order is. That yes, we are living in a period of tremendous turmoil now. But I think that at the end of this administration, with all its turmoil, and at the beginning of the next, we might actually witness the creation of a new order, because people looking in the abyss.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system for the post-corona era. We need a great reset.
So you're telling me Steve Pieczenik, the man who writes scripts and works directly with Alex Jones at Infowars, was under directly Henry Kissinger, the man who was the mentor for Klaus Schwab. And Henry Kissinger also had a huge part in destroying America by being one of the main people to open up China and ship all of our manufacturing over to China, which would later lead to the Great Reset that's currently undergoing, which is a shift to the Belt and Road Initiative. The Belt and Road Initiative, for those that don't know, is China's restructuring of the global trade system with Russia, Iran, and Israel, all in Saudi Arabia, of course, all working together to restructure global trade away from the United States. Almost all of the current wars, including Yemen and Ukraine and Syria, are tied into the Chinese and Israeli Belt and Road project, yet somehow all of alternative media miss this. Maybe it's because they're connected to Infowars, Steve Pieczenik, and Steve Pieczenik worked for the guy who helped make this happen. That someone who helped destroy America would be one of the steering members of the Bilderberg Committee. That would be Henry Kissinger, a man who also is inside the Trump White House through Jared Kushner. Here we can see Henry Kissinger pictured with Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell was the father of Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was just convicted of running a child trafficking blackmail operation for Israel inside the United States of America with Jeffrey Epstein. Here we can see a picture of Henry Kissinger with longtime friend of his, Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News. Rupert Murdoch, once again pictured here with Henry Kissinger, his good friend. Is this why we see a resurgence of Infowars promoting Fox News and Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson cross-promoting Infowars people like Alex Stein?
Thank you very much. Henry Kissinger has been a friend of mine. I've liked him, I've respected him, but we've been friends for a long time, long before my emergence in the world of politics, which has not been too long.
Sure. If it benefits them to attack Trump, they will attack Trump. If it benefits them to use Trump to hurt their enemies, they will use Trump to hurt their enemies. It has nothing to do with politics.
It's all very sociopathic.
It's nothing to do with politics. It's all about power and profit. People got to get the politics out of their mind with this. Once you can accept that, it starts making sense.
In 1978, Pieczenik was a special envoy in Italy for President Carter to assist in the search for Italy's former Prime Minister Aldo Moro as an international crisis manager and hostage negotiator. Pieczenik said the committee was jolted into action by the fear that Moro would reveal state secrets in an attempt to free himself. Moro's widow, Eleanor, later said Henry Kissinger had allegedly warned her husband against his strategy of historic compromise. You will dearly pay for it. So here you can see Pieczenik and Kissinger are working together. Pieczenik also claims he was at Camp David for the September 17, 1978 signing of the Camp David Accords. Pieczenik wrote an article for the Washington Post at one point. He was involved in tactics based on psychopolitical dynamics. Steve Pieczenik was mentioned in the article New York Times as a psychiatrist who has treated CIA employees. Pieczenik has been affiliated in a professional capacity as a psychiatrist with the National Institute of Mental Health. In 1979, Pieczenik was also consulted with the United States Institute of Peace and the RAND Corporation. The RAND Corporation is one of the deep state defense contracting corporations that's tied into stuff like the Atlantic Council and many other things. The fact that Steve Pieczenik, who is a regular contributor for Infowars, has connections to the RAND Corporation, and a regular host of the Alex Jones 4th hour of the Alex Jones Show, Jay Dyer, constantly is quote-unquote exposing the connections to the Rand Corporation in film and animation. Yeah, it just goes to show you just how genuine Infowars is. They don't actually care about what they're exposing, which I'll get into later. So now you're thinking, well, that's interesting that Steve Pieczenik, who's tied to the State Department, who's tied to Henry Kissinger, who's tied to the CIA, and tied to psychological operations, is connected to Infowars. Well, what about Roger Stone? So Roger Stone is not only connected to many shady people like Paul Manafort and other things that I'll get into. Roger Stone is also connected to the NXIVM sex cult that people like Jason Burmis have re-emerged on the truther scene by exposing, yet Jason Burmis is also sitting down and having meetings with Roger Stone and not exposing Roger Stone for what he is, which was a lobbyist for the NXIVM sex cult. Roger Stone has very many strange sexual behaviors in the past, and he lied and said that there was no signs that NXIVM was a sex cult, even though there are many stories that NXIVM from its origins was this, and these people are connected to the Bronfmans, which Roger Stone also has connections to, Alex Jones also has connections to, and the Bronfmans are good friends of Hillary Clinton and crew. Is that why Hillary has never sent anyone for Alex? Another interesting tie between NXIVM, the Bronfmans, and Infowars is the fact that Alex Jones used the lawyer Elizabeth M. Scurig, which is the same lawyer that the daughter of Edgar Bronfman used, Holly Lev Bronfman. So there's that connection as well.
I met with Roger Stone. We were at his table at a speaking engagement that he did in Clearwater, Florida. And I asked Roger Stone at that time, did you work with, do you know Jim Jones? Did you work with Dynology? And he acknowledged his relationship and his, yeah, sure. I did ask, I asked him flat out, I said, did you use the ShadowNet? Did you know about it? And he's like, no. Psy Group and Wikistrat's absolutely connected to the ShadowNet through the owners of the ShadowNet, through the fact that Psy Group, through Paul Manafort, submitted a proposal to Trump's campaign. Now, Trump's campaign rejected the proposal.
James Jones?
Well, I meet him at this event, Roger Stone at this event in Clearwater. And I walk up to him and I'm like, hey, Patrick Berge here. I understand you used to, and used to work with like General Jones, Jim Jones in Dynology. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And then I'm like, so did you ever work with a product called ShadowNet? Because I have the flyer for it, right? And that's when he's like, no. But then when I talk later, he denies having any relationship with them and such. But he did have a long time connection with Paul Manafort, who's obviously connected to Dynology through his very website, screenshots. We were his #1 partner.
Roger Stone not only has these long-time connections to things like Wikistrat and Dynology, he also has connections to federal informants and the people that coordinated the January 6th event.
Holy shit! Roger Stone, ladies and gentlemen! Roger Stone! Roger Stone! Roger Stone! Roger Stone! Roger Stone! Roger Stone! What's up? This election is over. Nothing is over till we say it is. We will fight to the bitter end for an honest count of the 2020 election. Never give up, never quit, never surrender, and fight for America. We have an obligation to see that the rightful winner of the 2020 election is seated, and that is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln, Donald J. Trump.
You have to do it.
So as you can see from that video, Infowars affiliated Roger Stone was absolutely coordinating the incitement of the crowd the night before Jan 6th. And as has been shown by the January 6th investigations, Roger Stone coordinated with Rhodes and Tario and others to incite the crowd that day. The existence of encrypted chat was first reported in May by the New York Times, which said it had as many as 47 members. In addition to Proud Boy chairman Enrique Tario and Oath Keeper leader Stuart Rhodes, other participants included Infowhores host Owen Schroyer and Stop the Steal organizer Ali Alexander. It's not immediately clear when the chat was created. Maryland Rep. Jamie Raskin, who led Tuesday's hearing, said the committee had obtained the chats but divulged little additional information as to their contents. Raskin did say that Stone used the chat to communicate regularly with Rhodes and Tario, and that it focused on various pro-Trump events in November and December of 2020, as well as January 6. Raskin also offered one example where Rhodes appeared to urge others to swarm state capitals in the event they could not travel to D.C. So just on January 6, affiliated with Infowars and Roger Stone, we have 3 known federal informants, the first one being Enrique Tario, who is cited as being a prolific federal informant. Here we can see Enrique Tario, the leader of the Proud Boys, walking with Rambo Joe Biggs, a longtime Infowar whore that worked with Alex Jones for years and now is a part of the Proud Boys, and of course is once again a federal informant connected to Infowars. Quote, the government wants Joseph Biggs' pretrial release revoked now that he's been indicted in a Proud Boys conspiracy. Just before midnight last night, Biggs' lawyer filed an oppo brief with an interesting nugget that he'd been in touch with a source for the FBI. And you can see the cloud document there from the court trial, which means Rambo Joe Biggs has been in touch with a source for the FBI for quite some time. Now, the third federal informant that is directly associated with Roger Stone would be that of Kingpin Stuart Rhodes of the Oath Keepers. This is a man who said that he would never be compromised.
And I'm not for sale. You can't buy me. You can't blackmail me, you can't intimidate me or shut me up unless they put me behind bars or, like with this crap, destroy my character assassination.
Infowars. Tomorrow's news today.
So let's take a look here at another info whore. The Justice Department argues that Stuart Rhodes both substantially organized and activated an imputed plan to use violence on 1/6 in real time through a series of encrypted signal messages beginning at 1:38 p.m. as Trump concluded his rally speech on National Mall, and 62 minutes before the Oath Keepers lieutenants allegedly formed a military stack to rush the Capitol doors. These facts alone is alleged are more than legally sufficient to secure an indictment of Stuart Rhodes. Okay? We will walk you through the mountains of direct circumstantial evidence built on top of these allegations, but readers must understand this. The only reason Stuart Rhodes is not in jail right now is because of a deliberate decision by the Justice Department to protect him. Indeed, it is unclear whether the FBI has even sought to search Stuart Rhodes' residence, personal belongings, or electronic devices, other than a single iPhone allegedly seized on the streets from agents marked in an unmarked FBI vehicle in late April. For reasons discussed below, there is good reason to suspect the FBI will pursue a tightly controlled and very limited scope of investigation into Stewart Rhodes. Beyond that narrow scope, they may not want the information they are likely to find. The question is, why doesn't anyone at the FBI or DOJ want Stewart Rhodes? And I think we all know what the answer to that is. But since we are covering a conspiracy theorist organization, Infowars, we might as well go into the full conspiracy of federal informants that were connected to Alex Jones on January 6th. In this image here, we can see Alex Jones was coordinating with Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar was in contact with Roger Stone. Roger Stone and Alex Jones helped coordinate this entire event. It is well known in internet truther communities that Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska are very good friends. I would also like to note that Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska are also pushing pro-Russian MOD talking points about the Ukraine war, and as you can see behind them, they have the Russian flag displayed, and Nick Fuentes has been putting the Russian flag in his videos, thus aligning themselves with a foreign hostile nation to the United States of America. Alex Jones has hosted Nick Fuentes many times on the Infowars broadcast. The connections to Alex Jones between Nick Fuentes go extremely deep, including the fact that on band.video you can find Nick Fuentes as one of the most featured channels on that platform. Then if you go to cozy.tv, which is a streaming platform that Nick Fuentes has created that supposedly is independent of Infowars, you will find on the home page at the very top, Infowars is the featured show most days on cozy.tv. You see how the cross-promotion network works? So once again, one of the main streamers other than Nick Fuentes on cozy.tv is Baked Alaska, as you can see here from one of their promotional thumbnails, which features both Baked and Nick Fuentes. And now, as has been revealed by the January 6 investigations and by the now public plea deal that Baked Alaska took, Baked Alaska is, according to court documents, cooperating with the federal authorities on additional investigations in order to obtain this plea deal, which therefore makes Baked Alaska another federal informant that is 100% associated with Infowars, and a large number of people in the alternative media that, oddly enough, have not called out Baked Alaska.
As he was, live streaming it, and the video has been used as evidence in several other cases, and it helped identify, in fact, several other January 6 defendants. But
some of those people you can see here in this image as the alt media Infowhores all like to cross-promote each other and hang out with each other so they can discuss how they're going to cross-promote each other. In this image we have Brittany Pettibone, who's been featured on Infowars, and later we'll discuss her connections to Alexander Dugin and pushing Russian propaganda. You have Baked Alaska here at the table. Hiding in the back, trying not to be pictured with these people, is Tim Pool. Tim Pool is directly associated with Infowars through Luke Radowski and other connections. You have Vincent James of Red Elephants. You have David Feiner of Red Elephants. You have an unknown character, Antonio Tony Foreman, Murphy Harkins, and this is just one example. There's plenty more of this out there. So does that give you a little different perspective on the people like Jason Burmis? You can see here on the far right of the image is Jay Dyer. You have Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes, Ali Akbar. All of these people were there on January 5th inciting the crowd for what would take place on January 6th. Yet none of these people are in jail somehow, but a whole bunch of average people that were incited by them are. And these guys are all connected to federal informants and have not called out that fact in any way, shape, or form, or distanced themselves from Infowars in any meaningful way.
Manafort's connection to Dynology, oddly enough, through the Stratfor documents that were leaked by WikiLeaks, who I believe is actually WikiStrat, because that's how we work the nomenclatures. And I believe that it's all connected there. And who was Stratfor connected to? Alex Jones. He hires.
Don't you dare say that. Oh, Jones will have it be apoplectic if you link him with Stratfor. Yeah, I know.
Well, they were in the WikiLeaks document, his emails between Stratfor.
Another deep state connection that absolutely needs addressing in this documentary is Stratfor, and the Stratfor connections to Alex Jones, which includes but is not limited to the editor he hired for Infowars, Molly Maroney. Infowars hires former analyst of CIA front Stratfor, Molly Maroney, as Infowars editor-in-chief. Molly Maroney joined the Infowars team with a resume that should send conspiracy theorists frothing at the mouth with excitement. It was brought to our attention in a video posted November 20th, 2012 by independent YouTuber Miss Sherry Lee. In the video, Miss Sherry Lee explains how Molly Maroney intercepted and responded to an email sent to Infowars pleading with Alex to have Tila Tequila on his show. Ms. Sherry Lee indicated in her YouTube report that it seemed odd that Molly Maroney, editor-in-chief, email address mollym@infowars.com, would be responding to her email. Upon further investigation, Ms. Sherry Lee discovered that Miss Molly Maroney previously worked for Stratfor, which she innocently refers to as a Zionist Israeli firm. An extremely reliable confidential government informant connected to the CIA has verified with Pete Santilli that Stratfor is much more than a commercial intelligence agency operating in the private sector. It has been confirmed that Stratfor allows the CIA to conduct surveillance operations within the United States under the cover of private U.S. corporation Stratfor, which is contracted to sell intelligence data to government agencies, including branches of the military, DoD contractors such as Trapwire, etc. Essentially, our entire corporate and government chain of command receives privately acquired intelligence data from the CIA front Stratfor, whose profits total in the tens of millions. For many months, Pete Santilli has received tips from reliable, high-level informants who have indicated they suspect Infowars.com may somehow be connected to Austin, Texas-based Stratfor Global Intelligence. Informants have also revealed that Alex Jones requires anyone who visits his new production facility, which contains his primary computer servers, must sign a non-disclosure agreement, prohibiting them from disclosing the exact geographical location of his high-security facility. There is high speculation expressed by insiders that Infowars servers are within close proximity to Stratfor, and informants may have told us they believe Infowars.com may actually be selling user data directly to Stratfor.
And what if it just so happened that this same group of contractors are behind the fake news in mainstream media, influence operations on social media, and the civil unrest nationwide pushing the defund the police movement?
So you probably have no idea, but Infowars is actually connected to the defund the police movement. As you can see here, Infowars' longtime employee and person they sell movies for, Jason Burmis, a guy who regularly hosts Alex Jones's Fourth Hour, and had to beg for his job back.
And here he is, folks. He's so upset when he begged for his job back. I didn't give it to him.
Is that what we're going to do, Alex?
We're going to do it. Damn right, we're going to do it.
Come on. Listen, can we have a private conversation?
Oh, you're scared to start it?
No,
Here, Duke,
listen, Duke.
Duke, did he beg for his job back?
Alex. Alex, beg. But he did ask. Thank you. So why gaslight me and say I begged for my job back? Wait, no, hold on.
It's called a joke.
Is it?
It's gaslighting.
We all have.
Alex. Hey, you're not bad on YouTube.
Alex,
you serve the system.
Listen, Alex. Alex, come on. You came over and crashed now. Are you going to talk about your son today?
I'll come back later.
Well,
the
listen,
big thing is
I would like to have a real conversation.
You aren't banned because you're not the real deal.
I'm banned because I'm not the real deal.
You attacked out. You're not banned. You attacked me to get points with the system.
I never attacked you.
And you did in front of them on Skype.
That's
begged your job
not
back.
true. That is not true.
Dude, what did he say? What did he say?
Did I beg for anything? Have I begged for anything?
You said, please do my job back.
No, I did not say please get me my job back at all. I said I would like to come back and do work from New York. You literally said where from New York. Why are you happy about this?
Because you said please.
Listen, I came
right before COVID 1984 kicks off, over at the Omni Hotel, we kind of have a verbal spat over Julian Assange, back and forth. But since then, I've hosted the Alex Jones's Fourth Hour many times now. I just hosted it last week.
Is promoting and promotes all the time Derek Bros and other people that pushed the defund the police movement. So these people everyone wants you to think are not inside the Infowars network are connected to the Infos network by promotion. Alex Jones Infowars has no problem promoting Derek Bros, the Conscious Resistance Network, the Corbett Report, the Last American Vagabond, Activist Post, the Free Thought Project, the Anti-Media, We Are Change, and Wake Up News. Most of these are anarchist. Derek Bros pushed the defund the police movement and even marched with the George Floyd protests. Yet here we have Infowars, which is supposed to be against the defund the police movement, promoting them and connecting to them and bringing people to their audiences. In fact, Derek Bros cared so much about the George Floyd protests and the defund the police movement, he got himself arrested in support of this, as you can see here in this article. Derek Bros, like every other info warrior, was somehow not charged for anything he did that day, and neither of any of the other info warriors like Baked Alaska, Enrico Tario, Stewart, it just goes on and on. Derek Bros was arrested for supporting the George Floyd protests. Does that make sense to any Infowars people? Infowars promoting a guy that wants to defund the police and was in support of the George Floyd protests so much that he was arrested supporting these. Protests in Houston were held in response to the death of George Floyd. In a video posted to Facebook, Bros narrates the protesters were near the intersection of McKinney Street when some individuals began throwing bottles at a dense line of advancing officers. Did anyone inside of Derek Bros' thing condemn that? No, they condemned the officers for then arresting them, right? In an account written for the Last American Vagabond, Bros said that he had been documenting the protests for approximately 5 hours before the police declared the demonstration an unlawful assembly. Yes, Derek, when you and your counterparts start throwing bottles at the police, that's now an unlawful assembly. That's how that works. And here you can see Last American Vagabond promotes Derek Bros, Jason Burmis promotes Derek Bros, and they all pushed the defund the police nonsense. And how does the cross-promotional network work without actually putting these people into a MCN? Well, here you can see Rebunked with Scott Armstrong, right? And Scott Armstrong is featured on Band.video, which is an Infowars exclusive video platform that they only let people on if they are approved by Infowars. So Scott Armstrong is an Infowars approved video content creator. And who's one of the people featured in a Scott Armstrong interview that's also available on Infowars' website? Of course, Ryan Christian, the last Soviet vagabond, a man that will tell you more Russian propaganda than you could ever possibly imagine. And why would Infowars allow for Russian propaganda? Well, we'll get into the Alexander Dugin connections later and how no one on Infowars has discussed the Belt and Road Initiative, McKinder World Island, or the transition to the New World Belt and Road World Order. Connections between Last American Vagabond and Infowars goes pretty deep, especially when you look at Jason Burmis and the Last American Vagabond's connections. And with Jason Burmis being a longtime employee of Infowars, you have to really ask yourself, why did Burmis platform someone who's against Infowars if he's working with Infowars? And the reason being is because Infowars doesn't actually care about any message. Their only message is gain as much clout, get as much cross promotion as possible, and cover a wide variety of topics to keep people confused, running in circles. And it doesn't really matter where the research goes because they're never going to do anything with the research anyways. So they have no problem letting someone like Jason Burmis, who's a part of the Infowhore main network, interviewing and platforming someone like T-Lav on the regular, even if T-Lav's message about being anti-Israel goes against the main message of Infowhores, which is to be pro-Israel. I also find it rather hilarious that T-Lav and Jason Burmis did a whole bunch of videos about how Burmis has been banned from YouTube. Really, Jason Burmis, you've been banned from YouTube? Let's analyze this. So as you can see here, during the past year, when everyone else has been censored for talking about the exact same topics as Jason Burmis has continued to see subscriber growth and has continued to see video view growth. He's one of the main parts of the Infowhore network, and somehow, even though he's constantly kissing the ass of Alex Jones, he's allowed to stay on YouTube and allowed to grow when he covers the exact same topics everyone else has been censored for.
He was talking about a certain thing we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube anymore. And just yesterday, folks, another one of my videos was taken down, but I wasn't kicked off for community guidelines. It was another broadcast. There's now been several broadcasts with Whitney Webb that was taken down. I believe it was the COVID-1984 nightmare or COVID-1984 with Whitney Webb. And he was talking about...
So as a content creator, I think it's important to point out that Jason Burmis is blatantly caught in a lie here. He states that the day before he was hit with a guideline strike and had videos removed, and that he's had many videos removed prior to this. However, anyone that's been a content creator that has received a guideline strike knows that once you get a guideline strike video removed, you're not allowed to use the platform for a week after the first strike and 2 weeks after the second strike. You can't post, you can't live stream. So how is Jason Burmis live streaming the day after receiving a guideline strike? That is impossible, and he's lying. In this video titled, Former Infowhore Employee Reviews Alex's War, I would call this a Infowhore confessional by Jason Burmis, where he confesses to all of the connections between him and Alex Jones and how Alex Jones produced his movies. And if you go back and take a look, Alex Jones was selling all of Jason Burmis's movies the entire time he was, quote, not an employee. But as we all saw, he begged for his job back, and he's no longer a former employee, he is a current employee, or someone allowed to operate on the Infowhore platform, as he's done countless hours on the Alex Jones show, especially recently. And now he's putting out puff piece reviews of the absolute crap documentary Alex's War, which was probably paid for by Alex Jones in the first place.
I'm Jason Burmis. I am a documentary filmmaker, and really, Alex Jones, in many ways, mentored my talk radio / internet personality career, right? The content I create here, and even inspired what I would do with my documentary films. He was this sort of all-in-one package of a person I may not agree fully with, but somebody, at least when I was looking at him in my pre-Loose Change days, I had great admiration for his courage. And that's, of course, how Alex Jones and I came together through Loose Change. And Loose Change Final Cut would be a film that he produced. And while he produced that, we grew more and more of a relationship, not only on the radio, but meeting each other in Chicago in 2006. And then when he produced my follow-up film, Fabled Enemies, I became his stand-in host. And from there, I would come back again. He would produce a film called Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined. All work I'm extremely proud of, by the way. And I was the first person he gave a show to, The Info Warrior, with Jason Burmis. And I'll be forever grateful for that. I got to see on the inside. I had a Thanksgiving at Jones's house with his family. I got to know his father rather well. I really liked his dad. I think Dr. David Jones is a really good man, you know, and there's no interviews with his family other than his son Rex at the end. This documentary is primarily taking you all the way up into the January 6th arena where the heart of the movie really takes place.
That's right. Jason Burmis was another individual there on January 6th, and he's another individual connected to Infowars who was there inciting the crowd, inciting people to go to January 6th, that somehow has not been indicted, has somehow not faced any federal investigation, yet the fact that there are hundreds of people in solitary confinement that still are awaiting trial. Another info whore was there filming himself at the event and never faced any scrutiny. And just to continue to show you that these guys don't actually stand for anything, you can see here Derek Burrows, who is very anti-Trump, has done and is anti-Infowars allegedly, but he's been promoted by Infowars. He's done countless interviews with Jason Burmis, and Burmis has done countless interviews with Derek Burrows, and they cross-promote each other. So if they're not a part of the InfoWhore network, why are they promoting Derek Burrows and Last American Vagabond and these other characters with people that are obviously a main part of the InfoWhore network? Later we'll get into Milo Yiannopoulos, America First, and the doxing of American people that are interested in patriot movements. But here we have the other end of the spectrum for the people that are more into the anarchist side of things. You have the Freedom Cell Network, which was put together by Derek Burrows, which wants you to give up your personal information, which they claim they'll never pass to anyone else, of course. They always claim this. And then you can get involved with people in your local area and build a Freedom Cell Network. Really interesting choice of words by Derek Burrows there, considering that the federal authorities generally call terrorist cells terrorist cells. So do you really want to join a freedom cell of anti-government people? That is basically the feds collecting dox information through someone like Derek Burrows on everyone that's anti-government and willing to work together against the government. And they called it a freedom cell. Right.
It's the truth, and I'm just going to say it, that I wish I never would have fucking met Trump.
As far as I'm concerned, Alex Jones doesn't actually stand for anything. One moment he's pro-America, another moment he's platforming someone that's an anarchist. In one moment he's pro-Trump, and the next moment he's anti-Trump. Alex Jones just uses the information that he's given by the people he's connected to, that we'll get into in a little bit, through the Joe Rogan network and their connections to Palantir through Peter Thiel. We'll get into how Alex Jones basically just is reading the tea leaves and is doing whatever he thinks is best for him at the moment. He's a complete fraud. He doesn't actually have any viewpoints. He's just there to put out whatever he thinks is the most popular to make the most money. He will be pro-Christ, but he'll also platform anti-Christ people.
The evil people that have the evil fruits want to destroy real Christianity. They've tried to take it over. They've created Christianoid, plastic, fake groups.
We thank you and praise you for a bold man, a strong man, and an obedient man. We praise you and we thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
She's kind of the front person for this whole mental illness.
What there is about that you can't understand.
And Christians are more persecuted now than ever before. Jordan, get rolling here with where we are in history. Thanks for joining us.
The whole idea of Christianity is nothing more than sun worship.
I pray for an awakening, God. Please heal our land, or at least have a remnant protect us. We want to be good. We don't want to be part of these people. We're not turned over to evil. We love you, and we're sorry that we've been in a trance. Please heal us, open our hearts and minds. Please move upon the land. We can see it already happening. In your precious son's name, his blood, Jesus Christ.
But when you say Jesus Christ, you're talking about Jesus, the anointed one, or Jesus, anointed one with oil. And it was the insertion of the male into the female with the lubricant of oil. So that's what it is. So when you hear Jesus Christ, don't think it sounds too important or impressive or holy, because ain't nothing holy about it.
I know God's real. I know Christ is real. I know these evil people, when they hear the name Jesus Christ, they get upset.
The whole idea of Christianity is nothing more than sun worship.
Ask for hedge protection on Infowars and my family. It's hard, folks, going up against this. These people are pure evil.
Well, thank you, Alex.
Well, all I know is there is a mocking of God, a mocking of decency, a feeling of invincibility with these people.
We have had, in 2016, a significant part of the alternative media supporting Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Suddenly, Donald Trump, this vacuous, demagogic man who just comes out with stock phrases about everything.
Donald Trump, again, wanted me to thank all of you.
Here's a great example of a cross-promotion network between Alex Jones and the largest podcaster on the internet today, and another rising comedian, Tim Dillon. And how this works is they promote each other. They even stage fake fights with each other just to drive up their audience numbers.
I got Alex high and drunk, and he started talking about interdimensional child molesters. Like, if anything, it showed people who he really is. But the good thing about it is, it showed people who Alex really is. I do not take Alex Jones's opinion on interdimensional child molesters seriously.
Joe takes DMT and talks about seeing space aliens and other dimensions. And then I talk about the globalists taking drugs and believing they're getting knowledge from other dimensions. And I'm the biggest kook in the world. Oh, I had Alex on. People think I like Alex. I like him as a friend, but he's a total nutball. I had him on. He talked about interdimensional child molesters, psychic vampires. You know, he's crazy. Oh, really? I don't take DMT. It's fine that you do. I'm a libertarian. Because if you're a good person and you take the DMT and go to the 5th dimension, 6th dimension, if you believe in that stuff, they act real friendly, but Mescalito gets mean later. He's a goat, by the way. It's Baphomet. It's who you meet. It happens to basically everybody, unless you're a really good guy. And then you get transported to a space prison for a couple 100,000 years. And then when you come back, you don't ever come back. I knew about this when I was a kid from people that I knew that were involved in CIA trials at Berkeley.
So as you can probably tell, this entire fight is not only another example of Alex Jones being completely insane, it's also completely scripted and fake, because soon after this, these guys would all be working together, doing podcasts together again, and they never actually took down each other with any real criticism.
But there are some that people looked over, so like 23andMe. This is a big one, directly sponsoring Rogan's podcast. So 23andMe is co-founded and owned by Ann Wojcicki, the Jewess. Okay, Ann is the sister of Susan Wojcicki, the Jewess, who is the CEO of YouTube. I'm sure you're all familiar with her. And Ann was formerly married to Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google.
So not only does Joe Rogan have these very shady connections and others that Matthew North will make here, he's also connected to Elon Musk and has helped Elon Musk manipulate stock prices.
Elon Musk. Now, I believe, although Elon is not listed as a sponsor, he is a sponsor. And here's why I think that.
From Colorado.
But I did just get a Tesla. So I'm supporting the podcast.
Okay, did you hear that? He said, I did just...
From Colorado.
But I did just get a Tesla. So I'm supporting the podcast.
Now, the worrisome thing comes when you connect Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and the members of the PayPal Mafia. And then you have the connection between Palantir, collecting everyone's data on the internet, and Cambridge Analytica, run by Peter Thiel, who is a Bilderberg member.
Atlantic Council and Facebook to restore election integrity worldwide. Literally, as the guy that I built the shadow net for was chairman of the board, and that was designed to literally destroy election integrity worldwide.
Their analytics were so deep that they were trying to figure out what people were reacting to the most in the chat, so they knew what Nick should talk about going forward. Like, how to, kind of like training, Nick and the internal team to kind of figure out, what are the breakers like, whatever. They said the chat was highly engaged when Nick was discussing the debate with Robert Barnes. That was one of his biggest shows all year, was the time he streamed right after the Barnes debate. You can see that as a large peak here. And when he was discussing Israel, he called Barnes unattractive, said he was fat.
I mean, you told me you'll soon see Kanye at the White House. You said that.
By the way, Zach is the one who was behind the whole Kanye West situation. And I was the only one that took him seriously. That's how I was able to predict the Kanye West situation long before anybody else did, because I listened to what this guy had to say. Now, everybody thought he was too young. Everybody thought he wasn't anything, that he was just some kid, on a Navy ship somewhere calling in. No, this guy's involved. This guy has been involved with Psywar for a long time. Now he currently resides at Space Command, former CENTCOM. He was involved with the Fort Hood shooting. He worked with Voice of America as a victim Muslim. He also worked with CARE as a double agent. Okay?
Culture will speak, and you've not predicted. You know a lot of what's coming and what's going to be unfolding.
First of all, I've had some conversations out there in those hills out there in Calabasas with Joe Rogan.
And Zach's a great source of really interesting information. And I know who he is, whose identity is, and some of the things he's done behind the scenes and things that have unfolded. And so he is who he says he is. He does do what he says he's doing. And I can confirm some of the stuff he's been up to out in Las Vegas and out in Florida and out in L.A. as well.
Okay, so he also knows Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and Alex Jones. So we're having a military guy go in between these guys, and it's kind of dictating which directions they go in, possibly, or influencing them in some way or another. But that was something that was always in my head. These people can't really dislike each other, or they can dislike each other, but they can't really attack each other because they're involved in the same networks. They're Pentagon assets for the information age, as well as corporate assets. This is when these maps people came around, Dennis McKenna, etc., when they came around, Joe stopped front-loading his podcast with ads.
We have no commercials today. I like it.
Oh, that's great.
We're commercial-free, ladies and gentlemen. We're brought to you by the universe.
Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very special episode. Podcast sponsorship free. Dennis McKenna and Josh Wickerham. Josh is from the Ethnobotanical Stewardship Council. You were one of the founders of this?
That's right.
And what exactly is that?
Okay, Maps Associate. Podcast sponsor free. A very special episode. They're not sponsor free. Joe is surrounded by Maps. Joe promotes Maps. And Joe is funded by Maps. Okay? And Maps is corporate. Maps is a cultural change, a cultural shift, and there's an entire CIA, MKUltra agenda behind it. Now, if you don't understand the history of the cultural MKUltra movements, please look into Jan Irving and his research. He's done such a wonderful job at laying it all out and getting all the evidence out there. That's what this is. Okay? So let's go back to these. Maps is Rockefeller funded. Rockefeller funded again from Maps website. The David Rockefeller family concludes to the obituary, encouraging people to honor Richard Rockefeller's memory by contributing nonprofit organizations, including Maps. Okay, Rockefellers. Backed by such private donors as, this is Hefner, which is synonymous with Maps. and published via Maps, where they were doing the ayahuasca, the DMT studies, the Rick Strausman, all the studies that Rogan references are Maps or Hefter studies. Universal basic income, the whole deal. Literally a brave new world. Oh, and look, the presidential candidate that supports universal basic income. And Joe Rogan on his podcast blows it out to all the masses. This is what you guys need. This is what you guys want. This is the good for society. This is the direction we're going. It's inevitable. And he really has that much influence that people buy into it. Absolutely. Again, running for president. Now, where did this universal basic income idea originally come from? Well, people like Alan Watts, who was a CIA asset, via the Esalen Institute. So here he is at Esalen promoting this idea. We'll sell you drugs and then they'll launder that money right back through their little club there. But that's a different show or video. So money laundering's a good thing to look out for. Now remember, this was never referenced. Nobody ever referenced this prior to me stating this. Then after I stated this, this Comedy Store clique began to reference the Laugh Stop. And
great.
Oh my
Houston,
God.
Houston's great. Austin's great. Texas is the shit.
Houston, I did an album in Houston. Austin,
did you do it at the Laugh Stop in River Oaks?
Oh,
Yes.
what a club that was.
Yeah, I did an album.
Is it there no more?
No, it's not.
That was that was
Apparently the
Bill
building
Hicks'
is still
club.
there. Yeah.
What is it now?
They
old
use it
PCD?
sometimes. Like they'll have shows there sometimes. I think someone had something there for a while. I don't know the full story, but that was one of the greatest clubs ever. Laugh Stop in River Oaks. Remember that crazy dude was running it? Fuck's his name?
Yeah.
Fuck's his name? Bald guy.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had an Italian last name. Oddly enough.
Joey knew him real well.
I forgot about that dude.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
Place.
They had a fucking legit open.
My boy Mark, we had a good time. I love it there. Cap Cities.
Oh, I love.
I remember one day there was a guy, you asked him about drug dealers, Lee. Let me tell you how wide open it is. Again, sorry to talk about this city, one of my favorite cities in the country. Hollywood. Houston, Texas, had a kid that would come to your shows, Lee, and he would give you a bun, and you'd go, wow, this is Houston. Where did you get this from? He goes, this is what I grew up. And he'd go, I got 6 other strains. You want to buy something? You're like, yeah. You'd go out to his car, Lee, and he had one of those construction trucks with the panels and shit. And I wish I was lying to you, Lee. I wish I was lying to you. He would open up the panels, and he'd have little jars of weed. This is fucking 12 years ago. The Laugh Stop was still open.
Yeah.
This was at the Laugh Stop when Rogan was headlining. Those things that you see of that fucking
Did you hear?
That fucking video that you see of Red Band texting me and me going off on him in 2003. That was then. That was then. This guy would show up to the shows, Lee, and he would have these weed containers. And then part of the conversation, he'd go, hold on. And it was like you were in that scene in Taxi Driver. I got fucking pills. And you're like, wait a second, what do you got? The one time he came to a show, he had Coke, Vicodin, Valium, Xanax, some tranquilizer you gave to retarded kids when they went over the top.
PCP.
He had something else. He had 20 different fucking things in there.
He must have been your favorite.
I used to give him $200, bro, and he would give me a to-go package that would fucking make a mule sing. He would give me like a half 8-ball, fucking 20 Vicodins, 20 Xanax.
You have a variety pack.
Oh my God, he'd give me fucking animal tranquilizers. You have no idea.
Kaylin and George were not just working for me at this point. They were working for Tommy, they were working for Stephen Molyneux, they were working for Alex Jones, they were working for a ton of people. And they were like, listen, we've told Tommy about it. It's all going to be okay.
And I just want to touch on this once more, editing, because I know a lot of you will probably go to the media and look up Kaylin and George and wonder what have they done since. And yeah, they have absolutely gone and done exposés on the right at this point. They have both come out and said they hated it all. It was just full of cocaine, hookers, and scam artists. They've obviously gone to the media and done this stuff.
The only real accusation I could discern from Paul's cocaine-fueled rants about me on Twitter was that I had retired at the exact moment when Infowars and all these other people were being banned. And to that, I would say I deeply apologize that my pregnancy and visa issues were so rude as to not pay attention to the news cycle. But the funny thing about this is the exact thing that Paul is attacking me for here, the exact issue that he is bemoaning me for, is exactly what Paul did at the time. In fact, Alex Jones reached out to Kaylin right when Infowars was being banned off everything and said this: Paul has gotten real tense about promoting Infowars or anything now that this ban has happened, and he's not being really responsive. So it's all this timidness and other stuff, Alex complained in a voice note. Everyone else I work with is starting to get really nebulous. So to Paul, for this accusation, I say, physician, heal thyself. From crazy text messages at 4 a.m, cocaine-fueled rants that go on for hours, sending me Kanye lyrics, asking me to go on dates with him in Europe. It has genuinely been insane.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah?
The ESC has sent out a call for experts, and we've been infiltrated by the mainstream people that do evaluation work for the World Bank and USAID. They're interested in ayahuasca. People are going down to South America to have these transformative experiences, to sit in ceremony. There's a lot of underground activity in the US as well, and Europe, where it's not legal. But in South America and Peru, ayahuasca is protected as national patrimony.
That's awesome.
So the point I'm trying to make here is Joe Rogan is a very sketchy individual. In my opinion, he's a new age drug-pushing Satanist. And all of the quote-unquote attacks he's been under by the mainstream media are just attacks that actually end up giving him more promotion. The same thing for Alex Jones. The more the mainstream media attacks Alex Jones and attacks Joe Rogan, the more promotion they're giving them for free. You can't buy that type of promotion. When I get censored, you don't have the mainstream media sending people over to, wherever I am by attacking me. I wish they would. And Joe Rogan here is pictured with the son of the Church of Satan founder. This is Stanton LaVey, and his father was the infamous Anton LaVey. Jan Irving confirms my analysis of Joe Rogan here when he says, I was friends with him for 8 years, and I can say that you are 100% correct, Titus. I just find it very strange that Alex Jones, the king of conspiracies, would be hanging around with people with such strange connections to people like, the Peter Thiel network through Eric Weinstein, who Joe Rogan interviews regularly. And then you have Tim Dillon here, who became famous by making parodies about Epstein Island, as far as I'm concerned. At least that's how he became famous in the conspiracy theory movement. And then he interviewed Whitney Webb based on information she received from Maria Farmer. After that interview and using them for credibility, Tim Dillon would then go out and make free Ghislaine t-shirts and then would attack Maria Farmer publicly online with his huge following.
Rogan he's one of a number of people like Tim Pool who have been used by a network that extends around Peter Thiel, the founder of Palantir. Palantir is one of the company that has acquired over the years a tremendous, and in some cases almost unprecedented amount of power in the West. It is an information firm that provides very valuable services to the intelligence community, police, corporations. Both political parties in 2016 in the U.S. Tried to get Palantir to work for them. Trump is the one that got them because Trump is the one that Palantir's Peter Thiel wanted in power. And
he just announced that and Thiel just announced that he left Facebook, where he also was affiliated, to go work specifically directly with Trump again, to promote him and associated politics. And of course, some might recognize Peter Thiel's name for his association with PayPal and Tesla, but not so much with Palantir. Is the point I'm really getting.
Philosophy that he calls Dark Enlightenment. The Dark Enlightenment, which is still a term that's not very well known. In Thiel's own words, and in the words of other of its espousers, that's a word, is an anti-democratic, sort of neo-reactionary, or neoconservative, technocratic. I don't want to put words in their mouths, so I'll just leave it at that. It is something that people should look up.
So this is a small dive into the rabbit hole that is the Dark Enlightenment movement surrounding Peter Thiel, Palantir, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and that part of the Infowhores network. But we have many other people to get into, so go and check out this interview with Barrett Brown for more information on this part of the network, and we can always do second parts of this documentary, but let's get to the rest of the Infowars network. Go and check out the rest of this interview though as well. It's in the show notes.
Joe, what I want to do is talk to you right now. I want to just say, I love you. Look. I need you. Let me break down. Are you okay? Let me just tell you.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm biologically a girl.
No, is that true?
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
Well, how do we know?
Joe, I swear to God, I want to have sex with you.
I think you should settle down.
There's nothing I want to do more than that.
So Timcast IRL, Tim Pool, is another one of these network members. He's one of the more loosely affiliated ones. Timcast is another one of these people that fills the Dark Enlightenment's need for a centrist movement. So you have people like Timcast that provide sort of the centrist angle of the puppet network. There's a flavor for everyone. If you want a centrist, you got Timcast. If you want a far right-wing guy, you have Alex Jones, etc. The network has something for everyone, and also included in this is Luke We Are Change. And Luke Radowski, We Are Change, is a longtime co-worker of Jason Burmis, who we talked about earlier. He produced the crap films Loose Change. They're absolutely terrible and full of lies. And Luke We Are Change is another part of the spectrum that they offer to you in case you didn't like the centrist or you didn't like the far right-wing guy. You go with Luke, who's like a DMT taking, no political side, doesn't believe in government anarchist.
The owner of the ShadowNet has so many key assets, why would he need to go to anybody else, right? So they get their talking points from the analysts that are putting it together, but then they disseminate those talking points through non-attribution to their assets throughout these news organizations, utilizing an application like the ShadowNet. Jillian Turner has a direct connection to Atlantic Council. General Jones was the chairman of the board of the Atlantic Council. JGI, Jones Group International, is an oil lobby. Atlantic Council and Burisma has a relationship. Burisma is an energy company. Obviously, they have these connections.
This would explain why Fox News focuses mostly on the Biden-Ukraine scandal, never mentioning Jones's connections, nor the Atlantic Council.
From Ezra. And it said, Lauren, I'm starting a new media company called Rebel Media, and we would love for you to contribute to it.
Sun News Network is off the air.
Bang. Gone. That's basically what happened. Sun News Network went off the air today.
Sun News Network has gone dark.
The end of Sun News Network.
Sun TV faded to dark.
With Sun gone, there's a hole on the far right side of the dial.
Ezra Levant fighting for freedom in Calgary. Good night.
Every day, the consensus media had one goal: stop Harper.
That's Ezra Levant, a journalist many consider to be the solo remaining voice of the conservative right in Canada.
Reporting live on election night here at his website, therebel.media's brand new Toronto studio for the very first time.
As you can see, it's just a box with a bunch of green screens and green blankets.
I was shocked that he wanted me, of all people, the girl who came to get my book signed by him and was just starstruck, drooling, to make a video for Rebel Media, his new outlet to support working class, good conservative Canadians like me and my family. I was elated by the idea. And
you really helped build the Rebel in a number of ways. I want to tell you that. I think you know that. You helped us reach beyond guys like me who came up through politics. You made me famous, unfortunately, which I don't like. Weren't you famous before? I mean, you
Not
started.
really.
You helped start
No,
Vice.
I was never recognized before Rebel.
Well, I mean, you did hundreds of videos, and you were the star of all the videos. So I guess you became famous.
No, yeah, I did hundreds of videos for you. You mean? Yeah. Before that, I did some comedy sketches. I get recognized maybe once a week. After the Rebel videos blew up, I am stopped by millennials, mostly white millennial men, 5 times a day.
Like normal, what these two are talking about is mostly irrelevant. However, what you've seen here is how these people recruit people like Lauren Southern into their organizations, and how the alternative media was created by mainstream media people in a lot of cases. Like Ezra Levant came from mainstream media. Gavin McInnes was from Vice. Like, these people all came out of mainstream media and are now the quote-unquote independent alternative media, just giving you a million different flavors of online personalities that keep you stuck on a hamster wheel, never really waking up to the actual truth. Gavin McInnes would later go on to create the Proud Boys.
All right, you want to try it?
Let's do it.
Proud of your boy. I'll make you proud of your boy. Believe me, bad as I've been, Ma, you're in for a pleasant surprise.
You might be wondering, what the hell is this? Well, this is the musical that Gavin McInnes named the Proud Boys after. That's right, a gay musical. Proud Boys would later be run by people like Rambo Joe Biggs, a longtime Infowars associate and good friend of Alex Jones, former Infowars employee, potentially still employed by them or paid by them. And here he is, and he was working with Biggs, Tario, Rhodes, and Epps. And all of these guys were the FBI informants that helped create the January 6th thing. January 6th and the Proud Boys would get all of these good patriotic Americans arrested, and they have not had due process, and they are mostly in solitary confinement. Some of these people have been in jail over 500 days, and Alex Jones, the Infowhores network, the Proud Boy leadership, all they've done is protect themselves. They've done absolutely nothing to help these people out. And it's just odd to me that a whole bunch of average people are in jail, yet none of the people who incited the crowd to go, none of the people that fundraised the whole event, none of the people that made money off of this are in jail. Only average people are in jail. None of the Infowhores network is. What does that tell you? Oh, and 4 of the people connected to the Infowhores network, or more, are known federal informants, including Baked Alaska, Rambo Biggs, and Enrique Tario, all closely associated with Infowhores. I just also want to put on the record in this documentary that Alex Jones' plight and turmoil and being attacked by the system and, oh, he's been forced into bankruptcy, that's all nonsense. His bankruptcy was done in order to protect his own financial assets. As you see here, a part of his bankruptcy was paying himself $18 million. And then he went on air to say, oh, he declared bankruptcy to protect all of his workers or some nonsense. No, this was all done for his own personal financial gain. He filed bankruptcy to protect his own assets, paying himself $18 million at the time. And the end result of Big Mr. Persecuted from the SH trial is that they now have the main conspiracy theorist on the internet stating that SH was real and recanting all of his previous statements about it. And furthermore, they've set precedent that anyone who does talk about it can be sued. And here, Alex Jones is getting hit with a $50 million fine. Oh my goodness, how will he ever recover? Oh, didn't I just say he paid himself when going bankruptcy $18 million? And earlier in the documentary, it's noted he made $165 million over the past 3 years just selling his nutrients and other things. That's not from all the other ad revenue that he pulls in. and all the other revenue he gets from sponsors and things. That's just the stupid chemicals he sells people for health. 165 mil in 3 years. I don't know how much he's pulling in exactly, but it's stated he's making $800,000 a day at some points. So $50 million to Alex Jones, he could make that back in 50 days or less. So Alex Jones, like most of the people in alternative, quote, independent media, have extremely odd chain analysis Bitcoin donations coming into them. I've covered some of these in the past. Lauren Southern, the Last American Vagabond, was receiving large amounts of Bitcoin from one source. Here we have Alex Jones, and since the past 26 days, as of May 26th, so the start of May to May 26th, Alex Jones received $8 million in Bitcoin from one donor. Just one donor. So how much is Alex Jones actually pulling in cryptocurrency from people? You would expect that this comes all from like multiple people, but no, when you really look at Alex Jones's Bitcoin donations, it comes from like 4 people, and he gets millions and millions of dollars from them. So it should be well known by now that Roger Stone is one of the people who created the January 6th event by helping organize it, getting people there, getting other people there. He also had a group chat that tied him to a bunch of the other key figures like Ali Alexander and Alex Jones that helped create the January 6th event. The group was known as Friends of Stone, and the members shifted over time, but they were a motley cast of characters. They were the Stop the Steal organizers, right-wing influencers, Florida state legislative aides, and one more failed candidate lawyer to former President Donald Trump. One participant ran a website that promoted disinformation about the Capitol attack. Another was an officer in the Army Reserve, allied with another key member of the network, Michael T. Flynn, Mr. Trump's former national security advisor. At least 3 members of the group are now facing charges in connection with the riot at the Capitol in January 2021. They include Owen Schroyer, the right-hand man of the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, Enrique Tarrio, the one-time chairman of the Proud Boys, and Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers militia. So the grift never ends with these people. Now they have this thing going on, the Reawaken America Tour, which is just January 6th for complete idiots. And it's being run by Clay Clark, and all of the characters are going to be there. You got Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, and new people they brought in from Hollywood for a more comedic twist like Jim Brewer. Oh my, isn't that going to be fun? So all of these people, you can see them in the network here, they're cross-promotional networks. If you agree to not attack any of them, they will let you speak at their event, so long as you don't criticize the network. They don't really care what you say other than that, just people, demoralized and confused, and, you get Mike Lindell up there talking about his pillows and how he's going to stop the steal, which never happened. It's just another big grift. Everyone involved is a grifter. You have people like Jason Burma speaking at this thing, which is another massive direct tie back to Infowars. Infowars is promoting this thing. Clay Clark's going around. He's like some weird, seemingly Freemasonic dude going around sort of gathering all of the people that they consider to be, controlled enough to be allowed to speak at their little thing. You have Ann Vandersteel at this thing. It's basically QAnon 2.0 all over again. And I'll be going there, so as a little follow-up to this documentary, I'm going to be going and infiltrating this and trying to question these people in person.
You know that the iPhone really was released within this, if not the same month of the IIA policy letter, right? I know for a fact, and you can easily look it up, that the Smith-Mundt Act, Modernization Act, was modified to allow for the influence, dissemination of propaganda to Americans, which had previously been restricted or prevented by the Smith-Mundt Act in the late 40s when it was put into place. When they modernized that, they took away those protections.
Now, I want to talk privacy with you because I found your speech over at Reawaken America, kind of enthralling. You know, somebody brought up these different type of devices. I actually have one. I have a Graphene OS phone that I use. It's a Google Pixel 4, and there are a lot of these devices where you can, quote unquote, de-Google them with other operating systems via Graphene, Lineage OS, and others. And when you were asked about this, you talked about how, you know, a lot of these things are based in Linux or Ubuntu. And if you really don't want the federal government or the CIA or the NSA spying on you, you should probably go with a Chinese phone a la Huawei or something like that. Discuss that. I found that very interesting.
So I just wanted to point out here that the Reawaken America Tour is advocating for using Chinese spyware in order to not be spied on by the American government. So you think it's somehow better to join the United Nations prison city system instead? Let's take a look at the device that Jason Burmis and the Google whistleblower Zach Voorhees is advocating for. One of the slides talks about Huawei's products being the, quote, foundation of the smart prisons unified platform. Oh, so you mean like the smart city gulags that are coming forward? Interesting. With reference to labor for manufacturing and analysis of re-education efficiency, according to the Post, some of the prisons Huawei said its tech is used in are rare in Xinjiang, a region largely populated by Uyghur Muslims. The Chinese government is accused of carrying out many human rights violations against the Uyghurs, putting them in detention and re-education camps and using them for forced labor. Many tech companies have been linked to the use of this labor. Another slide translated by the Washington Post details a surveillance system used in Xinjiang. It talks about how the public security forces in the region's capital, Urumqi, used a facial recognition system to catch a fugitive. In 2020, a report by video surveillance researchers detailed Huawei's work on a facial recognition system that is a system that was mainly paid for originally by the Rockefeller Foundation, pioneered facial recognition systems. This system can send an alert if identified someone as a Uyghur, or in the future, someone as a political dissident. And this is the phone that Jason Burmis and Zach Voorhees want you to go and get. A phone that further builds the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative Smart City Gulag infrastructure system. The next member of the Infowhore network I would like to address is one of the people who helped create QAnon, and that would be Jack Posobiec, the controversial conservative naval intelligence officer. That's right, this man is a naval intelligence officer, and he's a protege of Roger Stone and heavily connected to Infowars once again. It used to be a day and age where if naval intelligence officers were connected to your alternative media, that no one would consider you alternative media. Yet there's a ton of military connections to Alex Jones. He even admits them live on air all the time, and no one bats an eye. In this image here, you can see Jack Posobiec saying he's reading Alexander Dugin's book. And Alexander Dugin's book, as you can see here, advocated for the restructuring of the planet and the bringing forth of a multipolar world order, where you have Russia, China, and Europe basically working together against America, and you have America as the other side of the polar world order. Alexander Dugin is a big-time protege of Vladimir Putin, and this man is heavily connected to Infowars. And also, these people do not criticize the Belt and Road Initiative because I personally believe that they're all there to create the left-right paradigm and push it to the absolute max in order to help destroy America, to bring forth this new world, Mackinder World Island Belt and Road Initiative Eurasian superstate that you can see here with Israel at the center. Here we can see Lauren Southern and Brittany Pettibone, two people that are heavily connected to the Infowhore network, of course. And Lauren Southern has received a large amount of Bitcoin from somewhere, who knows where, but she's getting large amounts of Bitcoin. And here you can see her walking with right hand of Vladimir Putin, Alexander Dugin, a man who has called for the destruction of America and the restructuring of the planet into a Eurasian superstate. I also find it very interesting that Alexander Dugin is associated with this symbol you see on the screen here. And if you take a look at some of the shooting incidents that have happened recently, you'll find the same symbol. The conservatives are so brainwashed by Alexander Dugin that they're playing right into the Belt and Road Initiative and pushing Russian MOD talking points and receiving lots of Bitcoin. Who knows if it's for pushing those talking points or not. However, from the Macron leaks hack, we have Twitter personality Jack Posobiec worked alongside other American far-right extremists in amplifying the fruits of an apparent Russian military intelligence hack intended to disrupt the outcome of the French elections in May 2017. And you can see down here that Nicolas Fuentes received $500,000 in Bitcoin from some anonymous foreign source. So the same people that all work together are receiving large amounts of Bitcoin from foreign sources to alter and change elections. And these people, like Nick Fuentes, were heavily involved on J6.
Is probably a Russian agent. No, but I'm saying that how does someone like Jack Posobiec meet a Russian woman while he's
like
over?
Belarusian or something. They met in Bible study like 3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
That
Okay.
is the fucking worst story I've ever heard.
Go
Played
there.
on multiple occasions. Sorry, it's true.
She seems like a nice girl, but I don't buy it because I know something no one else does. I know that Jack Posobiec has taken repeatedly Russian Bitcoin. He is, in fact, being paid by the Russian government.
As of how long ago?
Last 2 years?
As of 2 years ago.
At least 2 years. He might have. The question has been, was he taking Russian Bitcoin when he was working for the Trump campaign? I would hope not. But I know for a fact he's taking Russian Bitcoin to spread Russian bullet points on social media. So I view his wife in a different, like the cover story. I didn't, come on. If he married a German girl, I might believe it a little bit more, but no.
I talked to his wife when she was at my house, and she was that one time, we'll get dinner with me. When you talk to something, you can tell, not always, but a lot of times when the story doesn't add up. I'm just telling you, in my estimation, her story adds up. When you have a normal conversation, you're just talking about like where you're from and what you do, and that now she's working for this medical billing company, and or it's just a nurse and this and that. There's not like the thing when you ask one of these like LARPers and everything's made up and there's always a story. It's not really like that. Like I think she's legit. Sorry.
That's fine. You can believe whatever you want, but the thing about spycraft, especially Russian spycraft, these type of situations, they've been doing it for over 100 years. And in many cases, at least 100 years they've been at it. And in many cases, the people that they're connecting don't even know they're being manipulated.
Once again, the connections run deep as always. Here's Jack Posobiec with Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar, Roger Stone protege. So obviously Jack blocked me a very long time ago because I was asking him a few simple questions on Twitter. And with always these quote-unquote free speech advocates, if you question them on Twitter, they will block you. They cannot handle quote-unquote trolling, even though they claim to be the master trolls. Jack and Associates were highly featured in my Who is Q? It's a expose showing exactly who was behind the QAnon thing. And this network of people have attacked the documentary by trying to debunk it. No, they have tried to flag it down and get it removed from various platforms. Here we have Mr. Free Speech Jack Posobiec with Laura Loomer, and Laura Loomer is a full-blown Zionist, and she chained herself to Twitter headquarters when she was censored off Twitter. So I exposed these people for making Q. They admit it themselves. DeFango has done countless interviews where he claims to be the creator of Q. We have Lestat saying, dude, we would be Esteban Trujillo, DeFango, and Lestat made Q. As you can see there, we made Q. And these people have resorted to criminal harassment of myself since exposing them. Here they are admitting to working with Jack Posobiec, as Lestat said he contacted Jack to give him the correct information, thus showing you they were working with Jack Posobiec. So as you can see here, Rocco Castoro on Twitter asked, can someone ask Jack Posobiec or @DaveTroy whether they worked through an intermediary to frame Thomas Schoenberger, as he has been claimed by many whom will be doubted, which is why I'm posting publicly to let the peanut gallery crack it up like the goat on the Adam Sandler album. So here you can see Jack Posobiec giving LARPers Round, which is Lestat's YouTube channel that was given to him by Field McConnell in Able Danger, and he's contacting Dave Troy as well. Then you can see here Steven Trujillo, who goes by Esteban Trujillo de Gutierrez, who is a former person tied in with the military and was someone that was likely the person writing the Q posts. Says here, I think the lesson is clear. Anyone tussling with you will get torn up. As edifying as this virtual Coliseum is, I wish that you both would keep your guns on our shared target. That would be Thomas. According to that dumbass, we are conspiring to make money off 3301 and take it over. True story. So you can see here, they're continuing to say that they have a shared criminal harassment target in Thomas, and now these people have turned on me as well. DeFango would reach out to my now girlfriend and accuse me of the most vile things on earth and threaten to sue me and say, we ain't fucking playing around anymore. So he's threatening my girlfriend in this, which is, pretty much insane. Then Manuel Chavez would continue his attack, rounding up people to attack me and then send me disgusting DM messages on Facebook, as you can see here on the screen. For instance, you can see here where he's threatening me with finding out who my girlfriend is and threatening to make everyone think that I'm a piece of shit. Then he continues to post her various social media accounts and says, don't worry, I'll be talking with your wife real soon and we're going to have a nice fat conversation about who you really are. And I have a lot of extra stuff that you forgot about that's definitely going to get you divorced. So I left you alone for many years, and now I'm going to make sure that your fake pirate piece of shit ass is gone for good. Got nothing to say, little bitch boy? So threatening to make me gone for good, is that a threat of violence? And as if that wasn't insane enough, he continues on. You keep running around trying to delete shit, buddy. I already have it all saved and all the phone numbers to relevant parties. I haven't deleted anything, so I don't know what he's talking about. So you can tell your bitch of a wife that it doesn't matter if she tries to block her social media accounts, things we already know exactly where she works, and she's going to get the same treatment I got for being next to Thomas, and the same preemed that you're going to get for being next to Thomas. This is the fucking last time that I ever see anything from you, because the next time your ass is grass in court. Try me, motherfucker. Oh, the little bitch isn't even going to answer the phone call. And the insane behavior would not stop there. Manuel Chavez would then go online and start posting photos of my girlfriend's baby nephew for some odd reason. And it's just very odd to me that the Q people are now the anti-Q people, as we pointed out in the 17 on expose and was found by researcher Steve Outram. So if it wasn't so serious, it would be hilarious. We have here a article done by Laura Dilley from MSU that's trying to continue to frame Thomas Schoenberger, other people, including myself, for creating QAnon, which we had nothing to do with. And she's getting her research for this by Arturo Tafoya, and the funding for it is coming from the Central Intelligence Agency. So we have another connection there back to the spooks. As you can see, Dave Troy here is one of these people involved in this entire mess, and of course, like Alex Stein and Jack Posobiec and Mike Cernovich, he has me blocked. So the rumor is that Brittany Kaiser is someone that DeFango hanged around with at Burning Man, which I think was pointed out by Steve Outram. And you're like, oh, well, who was Brittany Kaiser? Brittany Kaiser was the star of The Great Hack, and she was one of these leftist people that decided that she needed to speak out about Donald Trump using Cambridge Analytica, even though she worked for Cambridge Analytica at the time, and she was also a big part of the Obama push for the presidency previously. And the next is a clip of DeFango explaining his connections to Brittany Kaiser through the Obama campaign.
There's some people out there like Brittany Kaiser. I think she's probably one of the biggest ones. You know what? Whatnot. You guys have heard of Steve Larptrim, right? Yeah, Steve Outram. Hello, my name is Steve Outram. I'm from not America, and I'm not an American citizen, but I care about the LOPs. So yeah, the same place that he came from when he started putting out all of his information is the same place that the girl, the most important girl probably in this whole entire thing that anybody's ever heard of, Brittany Kaiser. Brittany Kaiser. She was the girl that she was the girl that was running Facebook for the Obama campaign in 2008. She worked with and loosely with other people like myself that were running Twitter accounts and things of that nature. You know, most of us, if not all of us, were volunteers. We all volunteered to be on the Obama campaign. Some of us got hired for bigger and better things, and some of us kind of got shunned a bit.
And just another point about DeFango and crew is they're connected to Mindy Robinson and Jacob Wool. Here you can see Jacob Wool, Mindy Robinson, and DeFango conspiring to frame Adam Green from No More News for a crime of being the Pizzagate arsonist. So they're conspiring in DMs in order to make this happen, sending a photo around to each other to frame Adam Green of a crime. And this would be Jacob Wool, who is a criminal LARPer, Mindy Robinson, who is a Zionist first person, and DeFango. Next on the agenda is the man who helped create QAnon, Q's best friend, Jerome Corsi, who is a regular guest on Infowars for a long time pushing the Q nonsense. There's a very interesting article on Jerome Corsi called The Poland Connection, which details his connections to all types of very nefarious people. It also details an alleged connection between Jerome Corsi and the FBI. And it shows this image here, which is a picture of Jerome Corsi with Ron Bird, Brad Amundsen, and standing just to his right from the Rockefeller family, yes, that's right, the New World Order Rockefeller family, Mel Rockefeller, standing with Jerome Corsi, Q's best friend, of course. And people still think Infowars is legitimate when they have this many connections, this many shady people. I find it extremely odd that Alex Jones would apologize to James Alefantis for pushing Pizzagate, but would have someone like Robert David Steele on after that to push the absolute LARPing nonsense Q stuff, and would also let Robert David Steele discredit the entire conspiracy movement by pushing his Children on Mars total nonsense.
Or maybe we're on Mars because we have to be, because there is a deep nomadic impulse built into us by the evolutionary process. We come, after all, from hunter-gatherers, and for 99.9% of our tenure on Earth, we've been wanderers. And the next place to wander to is Mars. But whatever the reason you're on Mars is, I'm glad you're there. And I wish I was with you.
On pedophilia, Alex and I had a 2-hour show on pedophilia that was quite good. But at the end of it, a caller came in and set up a discussion about children in space. And that was then used to do a media hit job on it.
Some boys hate themselves, spend their lives resenting their fathers. Some girls hate their bodies, stand in the mirror and wait for the feedback. Saying, God, make me famous. If you can't, just make it painless.
Stephen in Florida on the pedo gate situation. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. First of all, I want to say Romans 12 says, give honor to whom honor is due. So I know you guys are patriots. This issue about this pedophile ring and these pervert criminals, it infuriates me. It's one of my hot button issues.
Oh, it's the only time I think about violence, and because I don't like being violent, but I mean, I fantasize about like jabbing daggers in their eyes, stuff like that. I mean, I'm being honest, I can't help it. When I think about pedophiles torturing kids, I want to kill. Go ahead, sorry.
Look into his ties with Hunter Thompson, the Satanist that groomed him in Hollywood. When he says he wants to kill Trump, I don't think he's blowing smoke. I take that real serious. So look into that.
But you know, one of Hunter S. Thompson's best friends, he's the famous artist, I interviewed him. He said Hunter S. Thompson was about to expose pedophile rings and things, and then it was disinfo against him by the pedophile rings because he was writing about it. Let me see what Robert David Steele has to say. Go ahead.
It's not painless. She was a friend of mine. A friend of mine. And we're not nameless. It goes on and on. I don't know what I want. On and on. I don't know if I want it. On and on. I don't know what I want. On and on. I don't know if I want it. Well, if you're not sure, better safe than sorry.
No, I agree with that. And let me just point out that pedophilia does not stop with sodomizing children. It goes straight into terrorizing them to adrenalize their blood and then murdering them. It also includes murdering them so that they can have their bone marrow harvested as well as body parts. Pedophilia is much
This is the
bigger.
original growth hormone.
Yes, it's an anti-aging thing, and this may strike your listeners as way out, but we actually believe that there is a colony on Mars that is populated by children who were kidnapped and sent into space on a 20-year ride, so that once they get to Mars, they have no alternative but to be slaves on the Mars colony. There's all kinds of.
Well, look, I know 90% of the NASA missions are secret, and I was told by high-level NASA engineers that you have no idea. There's so much stuff going on, but then it goes off into all that. I mean, that's the kind of thing the media jumps on. But
So the problem is we have these LARPers working in coordination with people that have big-time intelligence connections. And more evidence of that is Michael Flynn, who's been on the show with Alex Jones, is connected to all the same people as Alex Jones, registered his business at the home of General Stanley McChrystal. McChrystal runs the private intelligence McChrystal Group, and David Petraeus is the person who succeeded him. And David Petraeus, once again, is a member of the Bilderberg Group. Another very interesting connection to these guys is the Steve Bannon connection and Eric Prince connection. Eric Prince is connected to Rudy Giuliani. He's connected to Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon's connected to Go Wengui. And interestingly, Eric Prince, one of the main jobs his private military company does is provides security for the Belt and Road Initiative for China, as you can see here. Frontier's main business has been providing support services to China's Belt and Road Investment Program. So the very same thing that Alexander Dugin is pushing forward on the world scene is what Eric Prince's Frontier's, private military company is out there securing around the world. So the next person in this little network of shills is Mike Cernovich. Mike Cernovich is a very, very strange individual, and I have no idea why Alex Jones associates himself with Mike Cernovich. However, Mike Cernovich is heavily connected to one Alan Dershowitz, who gets massages on Epstein's Island with his underwear on, supposedly. And Alan Dershowitz tried to file various things against the Epstein victims, and when he was denied, Mike Cernovich then came in and filed those very same things on behalf of his mentor, Alan Dershowitz, against the Epstein victims. And then Mike Cernovich would go around and parade around and LARP as if he was working on their behalf later. So he's a very, very scummy individual who does not like being asked about these things. If you ask Mike Cernovich about, why did you file against the Epstein victims? Well, then Mike Cernovich will block you. That's what he'll do.
The mother load. If Bannon is removed, there are going to be divorces, because I know about the mistresses, the sugar babies, the drugs, the pill popping, the orgies. I know everything. If they go after Bannon, the mother of all stories is going to drop, and we're just going to destroy marriages, relationships. It's going to get personal. I will go TMZ. I will go TMZ on the Globalist. I will go Gossip Girl on the Globalist. I will go Gawker on the Globalist. So you mother effers going after Bannon, just know I broke two of the biggest stories first before anybody else. Bloomberg, Eli Lake are stealing my journalism. If you think I don't know about your pill popping, if you think I don't know about the pills people are popping, the mistresses, the sugar babies, I know all of it. So you better be smart, because the mother of all stories will be dropped, and I don't care. You now know that I don't care. I don't fear you. I don't fear your neocon globalists. Hire public relations firms. Pay off Bill Mitchell to call me names. Fabricate things about me. I don't care. Right? You can't kill what is already dead. What is dead cannot die.
What a dick.
Another big name in this is Milo Yiannopoulos, another guy like Mike Cernovich that has blackmail on people.
Speaking of scorned people, as I mentioned, Milo would always get his quotes or blackmail from someone who he felt would give him information, like when he called me about Alum, when he called Faith about me, right? It's who are the people that hate this person that are going to give me the worst, most exaggerated false interpretation that I can get to publish in my article or ruin their career. And I'll just read some of these interesting quotes. He got Laura Loomer, for example, who said, speaking of me, it's a shame that her quest for fame and fortune overrode loyalty to those who facilitated the rise in her career. Then there's Faith, who of course stated, Lauren didn't know or care what they were doing of Kaylin and George, with Milo stretching her words to make the implication that Southern was in on it. This giant Antifa plan, right? I wish I could say the start of all of this wasn't so fucking petty as to be ridiculous. I wish I could say it was over something serious. I wish I could say all of this actually were about Kaylin and George working for Hope Not Hate and betraying people on the right wing, because then at least I would have some faith a smidge of faith in the right wing. It is ludicrous to make a movie like this without me in it. A joke. I am patient zero for everything. No. Also, go fuck yourself, you treacherous slime bag. Your day in the barrel is coming. I am coming for you. You will not know when or how, but I am coming for you. That is an actual message Milo sent Caitlin and George. An actual message. Simply because he was not included in a film they were making for Alex Jones.
So this extremely disingenuous Milo Yiannopoulos is now going around trying to get more money and stuff by doing the Christian LARP thing, because most truthers are Christians. So he's just trying to use that in order to gain more publicity and money and et cetera for himself, the same thing he always does. He's also very good friends with Nick Fuentes and is, you know, a friend of America First. That would be Milo. The next member of the Infowhore network is Nick Fuentes. As you can see here, Nick Fuentes is featured on Band.video. Nick Fuentes' own website that was helped put together by Milo Yiannopoulos has Cozy.tv, which is a streaming video service now, and Nick Fuentes' streaming video service features Alex Jones' show on it.
When we first got on Band.video, we discovered that the viewership numbers over there were fake. That on Band.video, there's a 4x multiplier, because it's funny you said 4x. A 4x multiplier on the views, at least that what us and our developers kind of counted. We did some tests where we were refreshing the page, and with every page refresh, it would go up 4 points, and we would do this and, you know, whatever. So I wonder if that's maybe where they got the idea from.
Alex Jones has interviewed Hitler 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0, the Mexican child leader of the white race, a bunch of times on Infowars, and Nick Fuentes has also been associated with Russia Today, a Russian government website.
And one more here from Titus Frost for 20. In my opinion, Nick and Baked are feds as prior to Jan 6. They were reported to Arizona State Police for allowing Kapwa Kami to groom underage children on Omegle from Baked Alaska's house. Investigation got dropped. That's all alleged. We don't know if that's true. Holy shit. And one more here from
Fuentes then involved in the movement. There's proof that this guy sent his dick pics out to fucking minors, and he also fucking snitched. He snitched. This is the headline here. Pro-Trump rally planner is cooperating in Justice Department's January 6th inquiry. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
This is Ali Alexander with Nick Fuentes. This is fucking a cursed image. Like, look at this shit.
December, when I got back and talked to Nick for the first time in a month, and he was going off, and he was like, I'm reporting Simon, or I'm going to sue Simon. I don't even know if I can win, but I'm going to sue him just because he's poor, and I'm going to, like, rape him in legal fees. And this guy, like, he'll tell you, he is not well off financially. Nick didn't pay him anything. He has a wife and 2 kids. Like, he's in a not, like, the best scenario. And then when he also was, when Assistant Groiper left, he's like, I'm reporting this guy to the fucking feds. And it's like, this is when I was like, okay. Wait,
So
did he literally say we're to the feds? 100%, yes. He wants, yeah, and What a that's piece what of shit. that's what I'm saying. It's like this guy doesn't give a fuck about anyone, and everyone's expendable. I mean,
This is, you know, his card, but it gets a little bit darker, you know, with Patrick specifically. And I don't know if this is the first time Patrick is hearing this, but Nick told me and Jaden at AFPAC 2 in that McDonald's parking lot that he had acquired video footage of Patrick. Let's just say in a situation that would not be good for him legally if that was released. And I'm not going to describe it because obviously I don't want to screw Patrick over here. And he said, oh, you know, if Patrick does anything against me, if he does anything else, you know, if he wants to, you know, whatever, wouldn't it be really funny if this got leaked, if this got put out to the public, you know, implying like, oh, if this made its way to the public and federal agents saw this, that Patrick would be
again, with the federal aid. How is it this guy is crying constantly about being persecuted by the fucking federal government? No-fly list, they're freezing my bitcoins. Oh, look at me, I'm the little martyr. And then he's telling Jaden, I'm going to involve the feds. He's telling you, you know, in regards to Casey, oh, well, you know, this would be real bad if this information gets leaked, all law enforcement. He's on a stream with me saying, criminality's based.
Right.
I love, fuck the law. The law cucks, fuck the law. Oh, I'm Hitler 34. You know, it's this hot topic fucking eternal teenager shit. And then this kid runs out there and he's like, I'm going to get the feds. It's literally he's a fucking hall monitor. Nick Fuentes is the eternal fucking hall monitor running to the teacher to tattle when shit gets tough.
The norm, day to day, what people just fucking did to each other all the time in this sphere. And if you weren't the one that was blackmailing other people, if you weren't the one that was ruining other people's lives to save your own ass, then you were the one getting your life ruined. For the most part. It was one or the other.
The financing for Nick Fuentes is extremely shady, and he's been receiving Bitcoin from foreign sources. Other figures who received the Bitcoin for the January 6th event include Patrick Casey, Vincent Renaud, Ethan Ralph, as well as platforms and websites like the Daily Stormer, VDare, and Gab. So foreign sources are paying these people to partake in the PSYOP that was January 6th.
But Nick is supported mainly, like the majority of his money is coming from small handfuls of individuals rather than like he's a millionaire off of like a million people giving him $1. It's more like 5 people giving him, you know, whatever, like a fifth of $1 million. Not exactly like those numbers, but that's, you know, so like with the super chats, yeah, he's, because the viewership is down so low. And helicopter money. You can see him there. He's on the left. He has the facial hair, and there we are currently at a bar. This was a video that was taken there. And again, his name is Brian. I only heard his last name, so I don't know if that's the correct spelling, but he's somebody named Brian Bialy. I'm not sure of the right pronunciation. And helicopter money, you guys might have been familiar with for the large super chats that were given over the years publicly. And they would often be in large amounts, etc. Well, this guy was a real estate guy. He had a lot of money in real estate. I remember him bragging to me in December after, you know, I had made almost nothing that year, that he had $20 million in the bank, etc. And bragged about the amount of money that he was giving Nick. It might be even more than what I currently know. But he would give Nick money through, I believe, Monero, could be other cryptocurrency, so it wouldn't be tracked. And what he gave on the show was a small fraction of the amount of money that he was giving behind the scenes. And again, you have to ask yourself, if the narrative that Nick puts out there is that, oh, this is a grassroots movement, we're not funded by multimillionaires, we're not funded by the elite, then how would you describe, you know, the situation where Nick is hiding the fact that he's being funded by a multi-millionaire to the tune of about $1 million in 1 year from all of his supporters, from all of his donors to the foundation? Because trust me, this money did not go through the foundation. Yeah.
So I decided to take a quick look at America First and found out they have an America First Foundation, which is classified as a tax-free 501c4 organization. But if you look at what a 501c4 organization is, it's for social welfare organizations. Therefore, America First Foundation is in massive violation of the 501c4 tax code, as they are not a social welfare organization. Ethan Ralph, who's followed me for years on Twitter and not replied to a single thing I've ever said, found it necessary to reply to this, and he comes in trying to defend Nick Fuentes and their status as a 501c4. But as you can see from the definition above his tweet, a 501c4 is for the social welfare of the general public. It cannot be used to benefit an exclusive small set of people inside an organization such as America First. So the money shouldn't be going towards things like cars for Nick Fuentes. It should be going for things that help out everyone in the general public, and that includes minorities, which you guys exclude from things that you want to help, right? So therefore, you are not a 501c4 charity, and you guys owe a lot of money in taxes to the IRS, I'm guessing. even though taxation is theft and the IRS is the mafia of the central private Federal Reserve Bank. So I don't necessarily care either way. I just thought it was very interesting that Ethan Ralph would reply to this. And I also find it interesting that Nick Fuentes is driving around in very flash cars all of a sudden.
Nick, 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 Nick.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Well, I hope all of you will be coming to AFPAC next year.
Yes, sir! Let's go!
At AFPAC, we don't wear masks.
No!
And because these people are extremely pathetic and this is next level cringe, the America First Foundation has been shrinking. And as more people realize their very strange connections to the feds, it'll continue to shrink as well. But that doesn't matter because Nick can just use like Alex Jones uses on band.video. Alex Jones uses a 4 times multiplier in his videos. And it's come out that Nick Fuentes also uses fake view counts.
First Not Live, going from DLive averaging around 8,000 a night. We started at around 5,000 the first time Nick went live after January 6. After that point, we were dropping into the 4,000s. We kind of went a little bit back up to 5,000 during AFPAC 2, and then it was just a slow decline to the point we were always in 3,000 or less by the time that Cozy was set to come out. So they were faced with a choice. Do we admit that, last time people saw us have legitimate viewership numbers, they were around 8,000, 7,000, etc. And now they're at 3,000, which would be an admission that our movement has shrunken, that interest has dropped off in what we're doing? Or do we apply a 2x multiplier in the code to Nick's channel specifically? At the time when I was there, I didn't see them applying that multiplier to any of the other channels. I don't know if they do that now. It wouldn't be hard to do. But they decided to apply a 2x multiplier in Nick's viewership number. And again, that is a multiplier that can be adjusted up or down. They could make it 1.8. They could make it 2.
And these fake view counts and bot numbers actually tie into something very interesting called the dead internet theory. It turns out most of the internet's not even connected to search engines anymore. If you type in anything into Google, you'll get less than, 30 some odd pages of results for anything, even though they'll tell you there's trillions of results. And now we've actually passed the inflection point where there's more bots on these platforms than there are actual people. So go check out the dead internet theory after this documentary and apply it to alternative media that you've seen in this video.
The mustache is for being handsome and cool, actually. And
do your boyfriends tell you that?
Yeah, they do actually. They do tell me that. And
so very oddly, out of nowhere, this leftist professor, Salty Cracker, just grew to a massive audience and is being pushed by all of the people in the promotion network. He also goes out there and attacks Alex Jones's enemies and supports Alex Jones every chance he gets in video. And here he is on band.video. Now, Salty Cracker especially makes me frustrated because he's allowed to say all of the things on YouTube that I was censored for saying. So, like other people, I don't believe their audiences are authentic. I believe, as the dead internet theory suggests, they're full of bots. So it's actually quite easy to go in and take over these e-celebrities' live chats. If they actually had thousands of people watching live, you'd never be able to do this. However, for $20, when he was on with Viva La Fray, I dropped this into their chat. Alex Jones's IIA, Interactive Internet Activities, see General James Jones and Roger Stone. He has never addressed the Israeli infiltration into U.S. critical infrastructure or the reset to the Belt and Road Initiatives by Henry Kissinger. That's right, the same Henry Kissinger that is giving foreign policy advice to Jared Kushner inside the Trump administration. So this is why we have to drop these types of super chats on here, because this is far more interesting than what these people were talking about and far more important to discuss. Tavi Robinson is another one of these people in the Infowhore network. He's an adamant Zionist, and he's someone that, when you look at the stories surrounding him, he's someone that's completely fake. He will attack his own support staff just to save his own career.
And this is something they all do. They create fake drama, like the fake drama between Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. This guy created fake drama with his own support staff just to save his own face. And once again, he's a massive, massive Zionist.
Tommy still, even when this article was published, was still trying to work with Kaylin and George, yet allowed the perception of them being these horrible villains to persist to keep his reputation as the victim. Milo alleges that the reason Tommy kept working with them and was still working with them when the article was published was because they were blackmailing him and threatening him. It's Tommy Robinson. You know, you think two gay guys are threatening Tommy Robinson and forcing Tommy to do videos with them? The whole idea is just absurd.
Kaylin Robertson, who stole £20,000 Bitcoin and was sacked by me. Yeah? Kaylin Robertson, with no evidence or nothing, is their source of information for all of these allegations. So I sit and read the allegations, and I'm not stupid. One of them is about prostitution cocaine. Now I know what's coming. I know a headline's coming across all the national media, Tommy Robinson prostitutes cocaine. I know it's coming. That's where the money went. That's where the money went. Yeah?
A few weeks after this article was published, they were in a studio filming all together. I have the footage of it. Tommy, Kaylin, and George all together, smiling, laughing, joking. Kaylin, in fact, has sent me thousands of messages between the two of them, all post this article being published, in which they were exposed as blackmailing, trying to kill Tommy, everything, of Tommy begging them to do work together, saying, hey, we're going to do this project, we're going to do this book, we're going to film this and that.
Look, once I've done the grooming documentary, call it The Rape of Britain, and we use easy meat statistics and we update them for the current date. That's the book idea, mate.
And here you can see Tommy Robinson also has a page on banned.video, which is a platform that uses a 4 times multiplier on their videos, and you can quite easily spam the website because they don't, stop you from doing this to drive up view count on any video you want. And banned.video has everyone in this little network on it. So if you see someone on banned.video, they are Infowhore Network approved. If you watch videos on BitChute, you will have most likely seen this 17 and on pushing LARPer that's connected to the Infowhore network, Simon Parks. Simon Parks is another person with very strange ties to the intelligence agencies.
A number of teams were selected, and from that it's grown organically. You can't be just a QAnon, he says. You have to be accepted and really good at looking at the information and understanding it. He said there was a group that had a paid job through affidavits. They decided as a group that they would continue to maintain this database, keep it going. He added, the Anon movement is unfunded and unpaid, but he said there is or has to be someone who manages the paperwork. It's all the same thing. QAnon or Anons or Q is all the same thing. They're all operated by British intelligence. Now, according to Parks, he grew up in a family that had links to British and American intelligence. Simon's mother worked for MI5, which is secret intelligence. Simon's grandfather was also a British diplomat, holding a position of vice consul and then consul of the British embassy. According to Simon's website, in 1936, his grandfather voted on whether to remove King Edward VIII regarding special branches uncovering of a Nazi plot to infiltrate the king. He voted to oust the king.
Sean Atwood, another one of these grifters. This dude was originally an ecstasy dealer operating inside the United States, selling hard drugs to underage children. Now he's one of the leaders of the truth community somehow. Yeah. And he's not a pirate, he's just a cringe lord. And on top of that, he's another one of these won't talk about Israel alt media people inside this promotional network. Never once discussed the Belt and Road Initiative, will not discuss Israel infiltrating the United States critical infrastructure using cybersecurity firms.
Into prominence. So there's a lot of different ways that the Central Intelligence Agency can be involved, and they are. So.
Yeah, we've interviewed some ex-CIA guys on the channel as well, and some of them talked about cybersecurity.
Mhm.
What do you think about cybersecurity, and do you think that's all infiltrated by intelligence?
That's Israel. I mean, they're deeply involved.
We got to stay off that subject.
I know, I know.
yeah.
But yeah, look. Cybersecurity is important.
Obviously, that is one of the biggest problems with this Infowhore network, is that these people are all pro-Israel, when Israel is verifiably working with China and Russia to restructure the global trade system of the planet to the Belt and Road Initiative. People like Laura Loomer, Jason Goodman, these people are unwitting, probably, Mossad agents, not even realizing they're spreading Israeli propaganda and attacking people that criticize them for doing this. When we need a movement of actual real Americans that are America first, and not these Israeli firsters like Laura Loomer.
Jason and I recently had a private conversation. He had been watching my videos and had some questions about my general views toward the Jewish community, so we talked about that. It's real common. I talk about this stuff. People think I'm anti-Semitic or something, but we cleared it up. Jason's a cool guy. So George has been getting weird messages on his phone, like dead fish pictures, tons of porn sites were coming through. They blocked him so he couldn't post on YouTube.
Now you didn't realize you're an unwitting Mossad operative. Oh, I'm not supposed to mention that. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess everybody gets to be part right in this and part wrong. You know.
I do have some ties with Israel.
I'll give you the quick Mossad thing.
As far as all this Mossad stuff.
Accusing me of being Mossad? Mossad worldwide.
French Mossad homie. I'm always rooting for Mossad. Mossad always used to use 22s.
People that accuse you of being Mossad.
Pain of the true pundit wants to know if there's an affiliation with the Israeli Mossad.
And I am with the old guard.
George is not employed by,
the Negev Brigade,
the Mossad, or any intelligence agency.
Ben Gurion and Avi Braverman.
I did some drops in Central Park a long time ago.
So, as I mentioned before about the dead internet theory, these e-celebs cannot handle being trolled, and I'm going to end this with Alex Stein and show you how to combat these people. However, people that aren't even really a part of the network, that are just unwitting, useful idiots, like Mersh from Nightwave, these people prove that their audiences are not that big, and that you can easily infiltrate their live chat and cause them all types of chaos just by inputting like $5 super chats and things. And people like Alex Stein, Mersh from Nightwave, Modern Day Debate, they're nothing better than, celebrities and actors that get paid to read lines. These guys will take $5 and read almost anything that you type into their chat. An example, Modern Day Debate read my End the Fed post. You can see here I simply dropped this. Revolutionary War was fought to free this country from the very same banking cartel that runs the central bank. Time we rose up and end the Fed again, which is one of the central truths of the truth community. It's like 9/11 was an inside job, and we need to end the Federal Reserve banking system. Now let's see if these people that are obviously controlled opposition on Modern Day Debate will read this basic tenet and truth.
We caught him.
This one from goes to Captain Titus Frost says Revolutionary War has fought to free this country from the very same banking cartel that runs the central bank.
Oh no.
Never mind that one. Let's see. Not a Fed.
Sounds legit.
Thanks for your super sticker. And Fish Died LOL says, can Destiny do the economics rap again?
So next, one of my followers decided to go try the super chat fun with Mersh and ROTC, Revenge of the Sis. And I don't think these two guys are a part of the Infowhore network, other than they're just dumb. They don't get the bigger picture. And Infowars just uses them to promote themselves and cross-promote each other. So that's their role in the network. They're unwitting, useless idiots.
What's your opinion on this video where it mentions Alex Stein and Mersh being part of an IIA network? Even if it doesn't have any truth to it, you two letting the video play out will say a lot either way. What?
Wait, what?
I don't know. It's
that was interesting. I want to hear
that's a new one.
No, let's just check it off the air.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna read this now.
So seeing the success of one of my pirates going in there and dropping a super chat, I thought I would go buy them a beer for $5 as well and just see how they react to me dropping this in their chat. So all I said was, IIA's Internet Interactive Activities, a PSYOP group connected to Infowars, as mentioned in Shadowgate the film. I am expanding on with a documentary you two will appear in. And I just thought it would be funny to see how they would respond to this, and boy, was it gold.
Host of Titus Frost, IIA is Internet Interactive Activities, a PSYOP group connected to Infowars. As mentioned in the Shadowgate film, I'm expanding on with a documentary you two will appear in.
Okay.
I don't care!
Yeah, I don't.
Bro, you keep... I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it. You keep sending me DMs. You keep fucking sending me these things. You keep sending me videos of you walking your retarded dog, talking about
I've seen that
fucking...
video.
God damn it! I don't care!
Yeah, man, no offense. I don't, like, I really
Here, look,
don't
let me
care,
make your life
man.
easier. We're Mossad agents at
you
controlled
go.
opposition. We are paid for by the DNC.
I
There
made
you go.
$500,000 in government payoffs.
Government, that's why he's getting fucked by the IRS, because they didn't reach the handlers. There you go. Put that in your documentary.
I really...
God damn it.
I gotta say, Mr. Titus...
So I'd just like to say, there's no reason that Infowars should even have these two guys on their show or allow them to host the 4th hour of Infowhores, other than the fact that these two constantly promote Alex Jones, they kiss Alex Jones's ass in the hopes that they get to go on Infowhores to get promoted. They probably don't even like Alex Jones. In fact, there's a clip of Mersh earlier in his career calling out Alex Jones. But now that they're allowed on Infowars and they're allowed to be promoted by the promotion network, now they have no criticism of Alex Jones allowed on their show. And if you do, they'll call your dog retarded, obviously. So moving on to Alex Stein, who's connected to these guys as well.
Let's go to the pinhead in question, Alex Stein. Now, Alex Stein, friend of the show. I've actually been on his program, Conspiracy Castle, as well.
I'm saying, look at your set now. Your set looks cool. It's like the dystopian broadcaster. It's kind of like how they presented what broadcasters would look like in like the dystopian future, you know? And like
Thank you so
movies.
much. Spot awful. Dark future. Thank you.
It's very cool. No, it's very cool. And that's why I like your production quality. And so this is another thing with Mersh. And this is maybe he's self-unaware, whatever, you know, he changes or this and that.
Yeah,
he's
maybe.
He's having that porcelain documentary made after him. That's going to be the biggest thing for his career that's ever happened. That's going to blow him. It doesn't
100%. I'm a fan of him going to the liberal media and trolling them, being on my colleague over at Fox News, Tucker Carlson's show. I'm a fan of this guy. I really am. And that...
So Tucker Carlson is one of these Kabbalah members who works for Fox News, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch. And Rupert Murdoch is best friends with Henry Kissinger. And the two go way back. The two are both very creepy Zionists. And this guy, Tucker Carlson, works for Rupert Murdoch at Fox News and is rocking the Kabbalah bracelet. And here you have Alex Stein on an interview with OAN, another major part of the Infowhore network, and used to have and probably still features people like Jack Posobiec at OAN. And here's Alex Stein being interviewed by them in their very professional looking studio. And Alex Stein is rocking what on his left hand? The left hand path, the Kabbalah bracelet, just like his daddy, Tucker Carlson, who works for Rupert Murdoch. Alex Stein is known as being a, quote, master troll, the master troll of the internet. Yet Alex Stein can't handle being trolled himself. In fact, if you ask him anything critical about himself, he may very well block you, which is very pathetic and weak. And currently, right now, I have 0 people blocked on the entire Twitter sphere. So if you want to contact me, you can contact me on Twitter. But if you want to ask Alex Stein, the master troll, anything, he might block you because he can't handle being trolled.
Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, a little over an hour before the show, I get this message from Master Troll Alex Stein. He says, "Dude, honestly, I'm just worried you're gonna troll me, so I don't want to come on. The fake death of your brother just makes me not trust you, so it's not personal or anything. The man who goes up and trolls the world through Zoom bombings, through public meetings, is terrified that I'm somehow going to troll him because I did an April Fool's Day prank, by the way. It was an April Fool's on Ethan Ralph. Now, let me ask you something, Patriots. Does that make a lick of sense, or is this man a pinhead?
So Alex Stein, along with Cassidy Campbell, staged an event outside of something that Alex Stein was speaking at, I believe down in Texas, and it's quite clear it was staged, and I'm pretty sure Cassidy Campbell, good friends of Alex Stein, a guy that has almost 2 million subscribers on YouTube, or well over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, Cassidy Campbell, they stage events, they do all these like basic like trolling things that have been done 1 million times. And here we have a video. And this video is Alex Stein with a staged protest outside his place. He'll go around ripping up the signs, getting in these people's faces, acting big tough. But this is clearly a staged event.
I'm back on, but I'm just saying, I love you. You get the good vibration. I love you. Okay. I hope you chump on a dick. I love you, though. I hope you put Trump on a trans girl's dick. Wow. I hope you Trump on a trans girl's dick. Trans girl's dick. Yeah. Wow, that's sweet, but I want you to live a long, prosperous life. That's what I want. And I hope you die. But that's what they want me to do, Jeff. Shonda for the Goyim. Wow. Shonda for the Goyim. I don't even know what that quite means, but I know this. I know that you're a good person. I'm not. Not to you. You're not a good person? Not to you. You're within my personal space, and I'm within enough grounds in New York State law to actually push you away. Okay, well, I'm just saying, I'm a fan of yours. Please move away before I... These people are they have mental issues, guys.
My audience is pretty sure, Pod Awful's audience is pretty sure that that person Alex Stein just had an interaction with is Cassidy Campbell, his longtime friend, and this entire thing was completely staged. Once again, I would go ask Master Troll Alex Stein his opinion on this and explain this, but I can't because he blocked me because he's scared of being trolled, and he's scared of me, he's scared of Pod Awful, he's scared of anyone that disagrees with him.
They threatened you. They threatened me. They said, oh, they're going to protest me. Yet they had my address. They know where I'm at right now. And nobody comes here because they want to use fear tactics. And I'm not afraid. I'm done being afraid, all right? I'm done.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
You guys know me. When I first started going to city council meetings, I started going to meetings, I started speaking seriously. They shut down.
Oh, no. Ask Alex Stein why he is afraid of Jesse P.S. Ask Alex Stein why he is afraid of Jesse P.S. Ask Alex Stein why he is afraid of Alex Stein why he is afraid of Jesse P.S. I can't turn it off. Okay, I turned it off.
Okay. What I'm saying is, when I first started and I started speaking at city council meetings, I spoke seriously. They shut down all the public restrooms at the park. I couldn't even walk my...
So Alex Stein is a perfect example of a kid who grew up with Hollywood-connected parents, with Rhett Stein, who was connected to all types of people in Hollywood, and now is being promoted by mainstream media as the alternative media. It's just a transition from people that used to like to get their news from TV to people that now get their news from the internet. And the powers that shouldn't be had to make this transition happen so that they could keep control of the narrative while offering you a myriad of choices for you to pick from in comedy and everything else, so that it can make your transition from mainstream media giving you propaganda to having these so-called independent members of this Infowhore network being your new 32 flavors of Baskin-Robbins ice cream, which, you know, different flavors might taste good to different people, but it's all ice cream in the end. It's all full of sugar and will give you diabetes.
Alex Stein is the host of The Conspiracy Castle with number 99, Alex Stein. We're happy to have him join us for the first time tonight. Alex Stein, it's great to meet you. How did you start doing this?
Well, to be honest, Tucker Carlson, I'm primetime Alex Stein 99. And I just love clout chasing, and I like going out there and trolling people, and I came out of reality TV where I tried to be the villain, and I stuck to that role, and now I'm the master troll of the internet, but I can't be trolled by anyone. Primetime 99 has no spine. So I've given you a basic look at the elements of the Infowhore network, and I just want to end this documentary with the words of William Cooper on Alex Jones. As William Cooper not only predicted 9/11, he also predicted what Alex Jones was and who he is. And with that, I thank you all for watching. There's plenty more I could have added to this documentary. There's clearly a large network that could continue to be investigated, and I hope that you all will. And please share this documentary so that people know what is going on with the truth movement, as I believe these people are intentionally destroying America with misinformation and keeping people confused so they don't know how to fight back against the true enemy, which is the central banksters.
You broke all that. We know that. I'm saying Q tells us stuff and all of it's lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of shit. That's why. Because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, and I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin popsums and everything. Oh, God. Sorry. Bye-bye, Q. I can't talk to you anymore. Jesus, Lord help me. Oh.
Where are you taking these
You're
children?
smuggling children.
Are you part of
You got to be legally in that vehicle.
You're not a part of this organization? Who are you? Where are you
we
taking
know you're
these
smuggling
kids?
these kids.
Where are you taking these kids?
In the back of there without children.
Where are you taking these kids?
So next time you see Alex Jones recording a staged event like this one in McAllen, Texas, or any of his stooges who learned to do these staged events like Alex Stein, make sure to drop a pirate flag and a ghost symbol in their chat and let them know who sent you with the truth. Thank you very much for watching this Infowars documentary, the question mark documentary for Q question mark.
Before we get started, I have to clear up a little discrepancy here. Apparently the other night, or within the last week, because I've been getting a lot of email about this, and I even received one telephone call. Apparently somebody called the Alex Jones broadcast and asked him why he didn't have me on the air, or asked him something about me. Alex Jones said he had me on the air once before, several years ago, and had to cut me off the air because of the foul language that I used. So on the air tonight, I'm going to tell you, Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar. Now let me say that again so there's no mistake about it. You can all tell Alex Jones that I said this, and I suspect he's listening because he does. Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, stinking, rotten little coward liar. I was only on the Alex Jones show one time. It was years ago, when I didn't know who he was, when I didn't realize what a liar and a coward and a sensationalist bullshit artist that he is. He was on one little FM station down in Texas. He wasn't on all the stuff that he's on now. And I agreed to be on his broadcast. That's when I was doing guest appearances on broadcasts, years ago. I was not cut off. I did not use any kind of foul language whatsoever. He treated me very well. And I stayed on for the whole show. Some of you in Texas know that that's true because you heard the broadcast and you taped it. Later, when I found out who Alex Jones was and what he was doing to the truth, and what a cowardly liar and sensationalist he really is, every time he called me after that, I have always refused to appear on his broadcast. Absolutely refused to lend him any credibility whatsoever by appearing on his broadcast. And that made him very angry. I've also revealed him for the lying sensationalist, bullshit artist that he is.